Swadika, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hani Cholapansanarula. Very delighted to be here as your host and welcoming you to the Mekong-Korea Connect Webinar that is held in part of the Mekong Republic of Korea Cooperation Framework, or Mekong ROK, which has been established since 2011. The Royal Thai Embassy Seoul wishes to use this webinar as a platform to introduce you to the economic and connectivity potential of Thai provinces along the Mekong River in the kingdom's northeastern region to Korean stakeholders. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. To start, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you the definition of the northeastern region of Thailand in this video, which is called What is Isan? Let's take a look.
ถ้านึกถึงภาคอีสานในปัจจุบันซุมมูเจ้าคิดฮอดอีหยังเป็นอย่างแรก
รู้ว่าหมอลำสิ่ง
มองท่องเที่ยว
สิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์
ดำหุงแซ่บ
ๆเช่นพื้นฐานนวัตกรรมค่ะ
นวัตกรรมอีหยัง
And that was a quick introduction to Isan, or Thailand's northeastern region, which is a distinct place with rich history and also immense economic and connectivity potential. To officially begin today's webinar, I have the pleasure to introduce you to His Excellency Mr. Wichu Wechachiwa, Ambassador of Thailand to the Republic of Korea, to deliver his welcoming speech. Your Excellency, please.
Excellencies and distinguished guests, I wish to extend my warm welcome to all of you who have tuned in to today's Mekong-Korea Connect webinar by the Royal Thai Embassy in Seoul. I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Somsak Jangtrakoon, Governor of Khon Kaen Province, Mr. Pongrat Piromrat, Governor of Ubon Ratchathani Province, and Mr. Monsik Phaisan Thanawat, Governor of Nong Khai Province. as well as the speakers and moderators who have joined us for our first ever webinar to explore Mekong-Korea cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, since the establishment of the Mekong-RK Cooperation Framework in 2011, South Korea has been an active and constructive development partner to the Mekong sub-regional countries. Our cooperation has been proven to be productive and effective, such that at the first Mekong-RK Summit in November 2020 in Busan, our leaders agreed to elevate it to a strategic partnership amidst many daunting challenges, including the COVID-19 pandemic and post-COVID economic recovery. As one responsible member of the Mekong sub-region and the Mekong-RK Cooperation Framework, Thailand is committed to advancing our strategic partnership by exploring new ways and means to produce many more tangible outcomes in key development sectors, which will increasingly benefit not only individual member countries, but also bring about greater stability and prosperity to the Mekong sub-region at large. With this goal in mind, the Royal Thai Embassy in Seoul is pleased to host this webinar in order to introduce the economic development and connectivity potential of the Thai provinces along the Mekong River in the country's northeastern region, or Isan, to Korean audience. We hope this webinar will spark new thinking and ideas about how Thailand and the RK could work more closely together to better tap this potential and expand it to further benefit other Mekong countries while building on RK's expertise and Thailand's development experiences. Ladies and gentlemen, Isan is Thailand's largest region with active and huge working population, including some of the brightest and most creative minds in Thailand. While preparing for this webinar, we were taken by how local businesses and development projects in Isan, including 3 provinces, can interestingly develop homegrown techniques or constructively adapt imported technology to deliver good results in handling developmental challenges they are facing. Their perseverance and pragmatism have much in common with the Korean work ethics. So Isan and their people are well positioned to become another potential development partner with South Korea, whether it be the RK's public or private sectors. For this webinar, we will focus on 3 areas whereby we believe South Korea has solid expertise that could lend itself for possible cooperation, namely public health, smart cities, and infrastructure, and smart agriculture. In each area, we will present the existing status of the local initiatives and their strive for improvement. Then we will ask our invited local businesses and experts with hands-on experience to discuss ways forward and their potential to progress even better, possibly with external collaboration. We wish that our current viewers will learn a little more about Thailand's development dynamics that is not necessarily defined or driven by Bangkok. We also hope that by giving full attention to our speakers' presentations, both the Korean and Thai participants would be able to find a fitting opportunity for future collaboration or come upon initiatives that will contribute to even more tangible and meaningful outcomes of the Mekong-RK Cooperation Framework. Having said that, I wish today's webinar every success. I also wish to thank everyone who has helped make this webinar possible. And thank you, all of you, for your kind attention. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, Ambassador of Thailand to the Republic of Korea, Mr. Wichuwechachiwa, for the message. Coming up next, ladies and gentlemen, we have special messages from the governors of 3 Isan provinces, from Mr. Somsak Changtrakoon, Governor of Khon Kaen Province, Mr. Pongrat Piromrat, Governor of Ubon Ratchathani Province, and Mr. Monsit Paisan Thanawat, Governor of Nong Khai Province. So let's begin with the remarks from the Governor of Khon Kaen.
กราบเรียนท่านเอกอัครราชทูตณกรุงโซลท่านเอกอัครราชทูตสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีประจำประเทศไทยและผู้เข้าร่วมการประชุมสัมมนาที่เคารพทุกท่านครับกับผมนายสมศักดิ์จังตระกูลผู้ว่าราชการจังหวัดขอนแก่นรู้สึกมีความยินดีและเป็นเกียรติอย่างยิ่งครับที่ได้มาร่วมเป็นประธานกล่าวเปิดการสัมมนาแบบออนไลน์เชื่อมความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างเกาหลีใต้กับจังหวัดริมแม่น้ำโขงในวันนี้จังหวัดขอนแก่นเป็นเมืองศูนย์กลางระดับภูมิภาคตั้งอยู่บริเวณตอนกลางของภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือซึ่งอยู่ในแนวเส้นทางระเบียงเศรษฐกิจ North South Economic Corridor และ East West Economic Corridor ซึ่งรัฐบาลให้ความสำคัญในการพัฒนาโครงสร้างพื้นฐานด้านการคมนาคมขนส่งและระบบโลจิสติกเพื่อให้จังหวัดขอนแก่นเป็นประตูเชื่อมโยงกับอนุภูมิภาคลุ่มน้ำโขงโดยในปัจจุบันนี้ได้มีการก่อสร้างรถไฟทางคู่ช่วงชุมทางถนนจิระขอนแก่นเสร็จเรียบร้อยแล้วและกำลังอยู่ในระหว่างดำเนินการก่อสร้างรถไฟทางคู่ช่วงจังหวัดขอนแก่นไปถึงจังหวัดหนองคายและโครงการรถไฟทางคู่สายใหม่ช่วงจังหวัดนครสวรรค์อำเภอบ้านไผ่จังหวัดขอนแก่นไปจนถึงจังหวัดนครพนมในขณะเดียวกันรัฐบาลได้ดำเนินโครงการรถไฟความเร็วสูงสายกรุงเทพขอนแก่นและหนองคายซึ่งเมื่อดำเนินการแล้วเสร็จจะสามารถเชื่อมโยงต่อกับเส้นทางรถไฟสายนครหลวงเวียงจันทร์ไปสู่นครคุนหมิงมณฑลยูนานสาธารณรัฐประชาชนจีนทั้งนี้จังหวัดได้มีการพัฒนาท่าอากาศยานนานาชาติขอนแก่นที่สามารถรองรับผู้โดยสารได้มากกว่า5 ล้านคนต่อปีซึ่งจะทำให้จังหวัดขอนแก่นสามารถเชื่อมโยงกับต่างประเทศทั้งด้านการค้าการลงทุนการท่องเที่ยวและการแลกเปลี่ยนด้านวิชาการกับสถาบันการศึกษาชั้นนำของประเทศไทยที่ตั้งอยู่ในจังหวัดขอนแก่นรวมถึงเกิดการพัฒนาการด้านนวัตกรรมและเทคโนโลยีสู่การเป็นเมืองสมาร์ทซิตี้และไมซ์ซิตี้ซึ่งจังหวัดขอนแก่นได้มีความร่วมมือด้านการพัฒนาเมืองอัจฉริยะน่าอยู่หรือ Smart City ระหว่างประเทศไทยและสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีในโครงการ K-City Network Global Corporation Program โดยจะมีการศึกษาและวางแผนแม่บทด้านการขนส่งอัจฉริยะและส่งเสริมการพัฒนาเมืองอัจฉริยะน่าอยู่นอกจากนี้จังหวัดขอนแก่นได้รับเลือกเป็นจังหวัดเป้าหมายในการพัฒนาพื้นที่ระเบียงเศรษฐกิจพิเศษภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือฐานเศรษฐกิจชีวภาพหรือ NEEC Bioeconomy ซึ่งจะช่วยพัฒนาภาคเกษตรไปสู่เกษตรกรรมสมัยใหม่เพื่อต่อยอดไปสู่เศรษฐกิจชีวภาพและเป็นฐานเศรษฐกิจหลักที่สำคัญของภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือสำหรับในด้านการสาธารณสุขของจังหวัดขอนแก่นนั้นได้มีการดำเนินโครงการก่อสร้างอาคารศูนย์บริการทางการแพทย์เฉพาะทางชั้นเลิศ Medical Hub ของภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือและอนุภูมิภาคลุ่มน้ำโขงซึ่งสามารถให้บริการด้านการรักษาพยาบาลได้อย่างเพียงพอรองรับประชากรทั้งในประเทศและต่างประเทศและมุ่งสู่การเป็นโรงพยาบาลที่ใหญ่ที่สุด ในประเทศไทยและอาเซียนด้านศักยภาพดังกล่าวจะทำให้จังหวัดขอนแก่นมีการพัฒนาด้านเศรษฐกิจอย่างก้าวกระโดดเกิดการกระจายรายได้ประชาชนมีคุณภาพชีวิตที่ดีเป็นเมืองน่าอยู่อย่างยั่งยืนสำหรับคนทุกช่วงวัยในโอกาสนี้กระผมขอกราบขอบพระคุณสถานเอกอัครราชทูตณกรุงโซลและสถานเอกอัครราชทูตสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีประจำประเทศไทยเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ได้จัดกิจกรรมในการเชื่อมความสัมพันธ์ระหว่างเกาหลีใต้กับจังหวัดริมแม่น้ำโขงและจังหวัดขอนแก่นหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าจะได้มีโอกาสในการต้อนรับทุกท่านที่จะมาเยี่ยมเยือนพวกเราต่อไปขอกราบขอบพระคุณครับสวัสดีครับ
เรียนท่านเอกอัครราชทูตณกรุงโซลท่านผู้ว่าราชการจังหวัดขอนแก่นท่านผู้ว่าราชการจังหวัดหนองคายและท่านผู้มีเกียรติทุกท่านครับจังหวัดอุบลราชธานีเป็นจังหวัดชายแดนที่ติดกับประเทศเพื่อนบ้าน2ประเทศคือกัมพูชาและลาวมีจุดผ่านแดนขนส่งสินค้าระหว่างประเทศทำให้มีมูลค่าทางเศรษฐกิจสำคัญเรื่องของการค้าปลีกค้าส่งตามด้วยการภาคการเกษตรจังหวัดอุบลราชธานีเป็นศูนย์กลางสาธารณสุขและการศึกษาในเขตพื้นที่ภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือตอนล่างการพัฒนาและบริการของภาคตะวันออกเฉียงเหนือตอนล่างนอกจากนั้นจังหวัดอุบลราชธานียังมีศักยภาพเรื่องแหล่งท่องเที่ยวธรรมชาติและศิลปวัฒนธรรมไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องของผาแต้มอุทยานธรณี 3,000 ผาชัน 3,000 โบกและพิธีแห่เทียนพรรษาเป็นต้นในด้านการพัฒนาสมาร์ทซิตี้ของจังหวัดอุบลราชธานีได้ดำเนินการภายใต้วิสัยทัศน์อุบลราชธานีเมืองน่าอยู่สู่การเป็นเมืองอัจฉริยะหลากหลายมิติเพื่อพัฒนาคุณภาพชีวิตของประชาชนมีเป้าหมายเพื่อพัฒนาเมืองน่าอยู่ทันสมัยส่งเสริมพัฒนาเชื่อมโยงการค้าการลงทุนการท่องเที่ยวพร้อมยกระดับการผลิตสินค้าทางการเกษตรรวมถึงการวางโครงสร้างพื้นฐานด้านดิจิทัลคือการจัดตั้งศูนย์ข้อมูลอัจฉริยะการตั้งศูนย์เอเชียนSmart City Network Center เพื่อให้การดำเนินการจัดตั้งเมืองอัจฉริยะของอุบลเป็นไปอย่างมีประสิทธิภาพจังหวัดได้วางแนวทางในการพัฒนาไว้5ด้านได้แก่ด้านสิ่งแวดล้อมอัจฉริยะด้านเศรษฐกิจอัจฉริยะด้านการขนส่งอัจฉริยะและด้านการพลเมืองอัจฉริยะตลอดจนการดำรงชีวิตแบบอัจฉริยะก็เป็นการพัฒนาการจัดเก็บระบบบริหารข้อมูลเมืองเป็นส่วนสำคัญในการพัฒนาเมืองอัจฉริยะโดยในงานหลักที่ผ่านมาได้แก่ระบบสารสนเทศภูมิสนเทศทางภูมิศาสตร์ร่วมกับการแสดงผลแบบกระดานแสดงผลแดชบอร์ดโดยจะมีการจัดทำชุดข้อมูลพื้นฐานเพื่อใช้ประโยชน์จากข้อมูลในแง่ทั้งวิเคราะห์ทั้งด้านการบริหารจัดการและการให้บริการแก่ประชาชนในด้านการลงทุนต่างๆเป็นต้นในด้านการขับเคลื่อนเรื่องเกษตรอัจฉริยะผ่านการดำเนินการระบบส่งเสริมเกษตรแบบแปลงใหญ่มีการสนับสนุนให้เกษตรกรนำเทคโนโลยีมาประยุกต์ใช้ในพื้นที่เพื่อเพิ่มประสิทธิภาพการผลิตและลดต้นทุนการผลิตอันได้แก่การติดตั้งระบบโรงเรือนอัจฉริยะเพื่อควบคุมการให้น้ำการเปิดปิดไฟภายในโรงเรือนเป็นต้นการสาธารณสุขชายแดนเสริมสร้างความเข้มแข็งของระบบสาธารณสุขในเขตพื้นที่ชายแดนการจัดตั้งศูนย์ประสานงานพื้นที่เป้าหมายการพัฒนาศักยภาพของบุคลากรการจัดบริการสุขภาพและการส่งต่อรวมถึงการพัฒนาศักยภาพของบุคลากรด้านการสาธารณสุขของประเทศเพื่อนบ้านด้วยนะครับเหล่านี้ล้วนเป็นแผนงานโครงการเป้าหมายที่จังหวัดอุบลราชธานีร่วมกับสถาบันการศึกษาและหน่วยงานที่เกี่ยวข้องร่วมกันขับเคลื่อนเพื่อให้มีการเพิ่มขีดความสามารถในการแข่งขันตลอดจนถึงความร่วมมือระหว่างประเทศในอนาคตต่อไปครับ
เรียนท่านมุนซึงฮยอนเอกอัครราชทูตสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีประจำประเทศไทยและผู้มีเกียรติที่เข้าร่วมการสัมมนาในครั้งนี้ทุกท่านกับผมนายมนต์สิทธิ์ไพศาลธนวัฒน์ผู้ว่าการจังหวัดหนองคายรู้สึกเป็นเกียรติและยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ได้มาร่วมกล่าวเปิดการสัมมนาเว็บบินาร์เชื่อมเกาหลีใต้กับจังหวัดริมแม่น้ำโขงผ่านทางระบบออนไลน์ในวันนี้จังหวัดหนองคายมีขนาดพื้นที่ประมาณ 3,000 ตารางกิโลเมตรหรือ 1.8 ล้านไร่ทอดยาวขนานตามลำแม่น้ำโขงระยะทางรวม210กิโลเมตรเป็นจังหวัดชายแดนติดสาธารณรัฐประชาธิปไตยประชาชนลาว แบ่งการปกครองเป็น9อำเภอ62ตำบล678หมู่บ้านมีจำนวนประชากรประมาณ 512,000 คนมีจุดผ่านแดนถาวรจำนวน3แห่งได้แก่ด่านพรมแดนสะพานมิตรภาพไทยลาวด่านท่าเรือหายโศกและด่านตรวจคนเข้าเมืองสถานีรถไฟหนองคายมีจุดผ่อนปลน4แห่งในพื้นที่4อำเภอได้แก่อำเภอสังคมอำเภอศรีเชียงใหม่อำเภอพลวิสัยและอำเภอรัตนวาปีด้านการพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจในภาพรวมของจังหวัดหนองคายในช่วงที่ผ่านมามีผลิตภัณฑ์มวลรวมปีพ.ศ. 2563มูลค่า 42,324 ล้านบาทเพิ่มขึ้น809ล้านบาทเมื่อเทียบกับปีที่ผ่านมามีรายได้ประชากรต่อคนต่อปี 92,947 บาทเพิ่มขึ้น 1,879 บาทประชาชนจังหวัดหนองคายประกอบอาชีพเกษตรกรรมเป็นหลักสาขาการผลิตของจังหวัดหนองคายในปี 2563ประกอบไปด้วย 1. สาขาเกษตรกรรมและการประมงร้อยละ 21.78 2. สาขาอุตสาหกรรมร้อยละ 19.54 3. สาขาการศึกษาร้อยละ 35.03 4. สาขาส่งขายปลีกร้อยละ 11.97 และ 5. สาขาตัวกลางทางการเงินร้อยละ 7.69 ด้วยศักยภาพทางเศรษฐกิจของจังหวัดหนองคายดังกล่าวจึงได้กำหนดเป้าหมายในการพัฒนาในอีก5ปีข้างหน้าจะก้าวสู่เมืองน่าอยู่มุ่งสู่เกษตรอินทรีย์ท่องเที่ยววิถีลุ่มแม่น้ำโขงเชื่อมโยงการค้าชายแดนพร้อมทั้งได้กำหนดจุดยืนทางยุทธศาสตร์3 เรื่องได้แก่การเกษตรการท่องเที่ยวและการค้าการลงทุนด้านการเกษตรจังหวัดหนองคายมีความโดดเด่นและหลากหลายโดยมีสินค้าที่สำคัญคือข้าวมีมูลค่า 2,840 ล้านบาทรองลงมาคือยางพารามูลค่า 2,240 ล้านบาทปลานิลกระชังมีมูลค่า962ล้านบาทและไข่ไก่มีมูลค่า389ล้านบาทจังหวัดหนองคายได้มีการส่งเสริมการปลูกพืชและสัตว์ที่มีโอกาสในการพัฒนาเพื่อรองรับนักท่องเที่ยวต่างชาติได้แก่ทุเรียนเงาะโกโก้มะพร้าวน้ำหอมอะโวคาโดโคขุนและแพะรวมถึงการพัฒนาเกษตรอินทรีย์ที่เป็นที่นิยมในตลาดสากลโดยกำหนดเป้าหมายในการพัฒนาการผลิตสินค้าการเกษตรที่สำคัญของจังหวัดสู่การผลิตแบบอินทรีย์ในปีพ.ศ. 2565จำนวน 20,000 ไร่ภายใต้โครงการขับเคลื่อนการรับรองมาตรฐานเกษตรอินทรีย์หนองคายขั้นพื้นฐานหนองคาย BOS ด้านการท่องเที่ยวจังหวัดหนองคายมีพื้นที่ทอดยาวขนานตามลำแม่น้ำโขงระยะทางรวม210กิโลเมตรเป็นผลให้มีจุดเด่นสำคัญคือมรดกทางธรรมชาติวัฒนธรรมและอัตลักษณ์ท้องถิ่นที่มีความหลากหลายและมีแหล่งท่องเที่ยวของจังหวัดหนองคายในลักษณะการท่องเที่ยวในรูปแบบ3ธรรมคือ 1. แหล่งท่องเที่ยวทางธรรมะประวัติศาสตร์และศาสนา 2. แหล่งท่องเที่ยวทางธรรมชาติรวมถึง 3. แหล่งท่องเที่ยวทางวัฒนธรรมรวมทั้งมีเส้นทางการท่องเที่ยวที่มีความโดดเด่นจำนวน2เส้นทางได้แก่เส้นทางนาคีรูทเป็นเส้นทางแหล่งความเชื่อและศรัทธาเกี่ยวกับพญานาคซึ่งเป็นสิ่งศักดิ์สิทธิ์ที่จะส่งเสริมเรื่องของโชคลาภและความมั่นคั่งและเส้นทางโรแมนติกรูทเป็นเส้นทางที่ทอดขนานตามลำแม่น้ำโขงซึ่งเป็นเส้นแขบระหว่างราชอาณาจักรไทยกับสาธารณรัฐประชาธิปไตยประชาชนลาวมีทัศนียภาพที่สวยงามเป็นอย่างมากซึ่งจะเป็นอีกหนึ่งทางเลือกที่สามารถสร้างแรงดึงดูดให้นักเดินทางและนักเที่ยวที่จะมีทางเลือกในการเดินทางเพิ่มมากขึ้นด้านการค้าการลงทุนและการค้าชายแดนมีแนวโน้มทิศทางการพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจในพื้นที่จังหวัดหนองคายที่มีสำคัญดังนี้ 1. มูลค่าการค้าชายแดนณจุดผ่านแดนถาวรณปี 2564 มีมูลค่า 75,000 ล้านบาทเพิ่มขึ้นร้อยละ 23.70 ด้านการส่งออกมีมูลค่า 64,300 ล้านบาทโดยมีสินค้าส่งออกที่สำคัญได้แก่น้ำมันปิโตรเลียมทองคำแท่งรถยนต์และยานยนต์อื่นๆที่ออกแบบสำหรับขนส่งบุคคลด้านการนำเข้ามีมูลค่า 17,000 ล้านบาทลดลงร้อยละ 20.54 โดยมีสินค้านำเข้าที่สำคัญได้แก่พลังงานไฟฟ้าฮาร์ดดิสก์และแร่ทองคำ 2. มูลค่าการค้าชายแดนณจุดผ่อนปลน4จุดในพื้นที่จังหวัดหนองคายเมื่อปี2562มีมูลค่าสูงถึง 1,969 ล้านบาทซึ่งหากในอนาคตสถานการณ์โควิด -19 คลี่คลายเข้าสู่ภาวะปกติอาจจะได้เห็นแนวโน้มการเติบโตที่ดีขึ้นเนื่องด้วยปัจจัยประสุนจากรถไฟสาธารณรัฐประชาธิปไตยประชาชนลาวและสาธารณรัฐประชาชนจีนจังหวัดหนองคายหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าในโอกาสต่อไปจะได้รับความร่วมมือพัฒนาทางด้านเศรษฐกิจสังคมและวัฒนธรรมร่วมกับสาธารณรัฐเกาหลีใต้ต่อไปขอกราบขอบคุณครับ
Many thanks to the governors of Khon Kaen, Ubon Ratchathani and Nong Khai for those messages as we see the potential of Isan into the future, local innovation, global aspirations. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to proceed to the first topic of the day, and our discussion centers around cross-border health. To help you understand some of the current healthcare developments, projects and activities undertaken in Thailand's northeastern part, we have a video presentation which will be coming up for you shortly. But first, allow me to introduce you to the moderator of this session. Our moderator is Dr. Kanchit Limpa Kanchanarat, Advisor of the Department of Disease Control, Ministry of Public Health of Thailand, and we have respected panelists from various agencies who will be joining as well. So now let's take a look at the video, which will give you more ideas on cross-border health. Let's take a look.
เราต้องการจะสร้างรถเพื่อที่จะสื่อสารกับคนไข้และส่งของให้คนไข้โดยที่เจ้าหน้าที่ไม่ได้คอนแทคกับคนไข้โดยตรงเป็นการลดความเสี่ยงที่เจ้าหน้าที่กับคนไข้ที่มีเชื้อแล้วนะฮะคอนแทคกัน
สำหรับหอผู้ป่วยในของเราก็มีการปรับพัฒนาหลายๆหอผู้ป่วยจากหอผู้ป่วยธรรมดาเป็นหอผู้ป่วยที่รับดูแลผู้ป่วยโรคติดเชื้อทางเดินหายใจโดยเฉพาะโดยการที่จะเป็นห้อง negative pressure เป็นการป้องกันการแพร่กระจายของเชื้อครับจังหวัดอุบลราชธานีเป็นจังหวัดที่ติดชายแดนถึง2ประเทศได้แก่ประเทศลาวและประเทศกัมพูชาในช่วงสถานการณ์โควิดนั้นต้องอาศัยการติดต่อทางไกลนะครับก็สำหรับชาวกัมพูชานั้นก็มักจะต้องอาศัยล่ามและล่ามเนี่ยจะใช้วิดีโอคอลในการสื่อสารกันระหว่างผู้ป่วยชาวกัมพูชาและแพทย์และบุคลากรทางการแพทย์ประเทศลาวเราก็อาศัยเป็นไลน์กรุ๊ปนะครับที่เป็นการสื่อสารกันโดยมีโรงพยาบาลที่เป็นเซ็นเตอร์ของทางฝั่งลาวคือโรงพยาบาลแขวงจำปาสักและก็เป็นโรงพยาบาลของฝั่งไทยซึ่งมีหลายๆโรงพยาบาลในจังหวัดอุบลราชธานีที่อยู่ในกลุ่มนั้น
ยาที่คุณหมอให้ไปเมื่อระบาดตากินยาให้ครบตามที่หมอสั่งเด้อ
สำหรับผู้ป่วยต่างชาตินั้นถ้าเป็นผู้ป่วยชาวกัมพูชาล่ามเป็นผู้ส่งยาให้กับทางผู้ป่วยชาวกัมพูชาสำหรับผู้ป่วยประเทศลาวอาศัยช่องทางที่เป็นการติดต่อกันระหว่างโรงพยาบาลเซ็นเตอร์ก็คือโรงพยาบาลแขวงจำปาสักของประเทศลาวครับติดต่อประสานมาทางไลน์โรงพยาบาลเราก็จัดยาให้แล้วก็ประสานกับโรงพยาบาลที่เป็นเซ็นเตอร์ฝั่งไทยได้แก่โรงพยาบาลสิรินธรในการส่งยาให้กับผู้ป่วยทางประเทศลาวครับ
Good afternoon and welcome all participants to this first session of webinar for Mekong-Korea. Thanks to ASEAN-Korea Connect Center for organizing this event today. This first session on cross-border health issue is complex issue, as this sub-region has a very long borders between each other and all connected through all kinds of transportation system. Border provinces all depends on each other on health, social, and economic dimensions. The issue is also important, as we can see that about half of the WHO booklet on international health regulations, or IHR 2005, contains points of entry, capacity building, and tools used for the member states. Today, we have 4 speakers to present in this 45-minute session. To save time, I would like to introduce them one by one. And let us hear all 4 presentations before we open for comments or Q&A. In the meantime, if audience have questions, you can either save it after all presentations or leave it in the chat box. Our first presentation will be given by Dr. Krongkwan Traitongyu from Thailand International Cooperation Agency, or TICA. She is at the Department of International Organizations, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Dr. Krongkwan, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Thank you very much, Dr. Kanchit. So good afternoon. Let me introduce myself. My name is Krongkwan Traitongyu. I am responsible for development cooperation in the public health sector at the Thailand Cooperation Agency, or TICA, which is one of the departments of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Thailand. Basically, just to give you some clear idea about what TICA is equivalent to KOIGA of Korea. So first of all, I would like to thank the Royal Thai Embassy in Seoul for organizing this very important event. I really appreciate the opportunity to gain interesting insights from other speakers and share the collective efforts that TICA and also the Ministry of Public Health in fostering this cross-border health cooperation. So just to share with you about the mandate of TICA, we are in charge of implementing and developing international cooperation projects. Our main focus is to bring our own expertise and share with our partner countries in the processes of development in various fields, ranging from agriculture, trade, education, labor, and last but not least, public health. And since the COVID-19 pandemic, it has become inevitably, our core activity. The situation in this region is rather unique because of its porous borders. Thailand shares, as Dr. Kanchit mentioned, Thailand shares land borders with Myanmar, Laos, PDR, Cambodia, and with the rapid development of connectivity of roads and railroads and so on, Thailand therefore initiated this development project called the Project on the Communicable Disease Surveillance, Prevention and Control in Border Areas, including emerging and re-emerging disease. It's quite a long name, but in short, we call this project Border Health Project. And the aim of this project is to strengthen cooperation on public health along the border areas, and it started since 2014. What is significant about this project is that it actually provides a platform in which all countries, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and Myanmar can work together to strengthen its capacity in health of their health personnel and set up the proper systematic referral system between Thailand and the neighboring countries. So in short, this is a part of the efforts to concretize health diplomacy through development diplomacy. And Tiger obviously is not working alone in these efforts, but we have our key players who are also a part of these panels as well. For instance, we have Dr. Sawapak from the Department of Disease Control, from the Ministry of Public Health. We have Ms. Pimontipa from the Ubon Ratchathani Provincial Health Office. We have Dr. Parinya from Sampasit Sithiprasong Hospital. These are our key players who actually provide us with their advice, and also they are the implementing agency for this project as well. So with this border health project, our key strategy is to match a province of Thailand and of the neighboring countries. For example, as you can see on the screen, we have, for instance, in the Thai and Cambodian borders, we have Sa Kaeo and Ban Tien Mien Choi province. In the northeastern part of Thailand, we have, for instance, Nong Khai and Vientiane province. We have, like Mukdahan and Sawanakhet. And in the west part of Thailand, Thai-Myanmar borders, we have Tak, Mewadi, Kanchanaburi, Tawai, and Ranong and Chao To province. And we set up this two important mechanisms. Firstly is the twin hospitals, and the second mechanism is the referral system. So since 2014, we have successfully paired over 14 twin hospitals along the borders. And today we will showcase our best sample of the twin hospital of the Ubon Ratchathani and Pak Song province, and how can they play important role in strengthening the health infrastructure along the border areas. And this actually served well with the connectivities, the connectivities which connects the greater Mekong sub-region, such as the Route 9, the East-West Economic Corridor that links Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam as well. The twin hospitals are Sampasit Sithiprasong of Ubon Ratchathani province and Pak Song Hospital in Champasak province in Laos. So what is this pairs of twin hospital do together? Through this setting up of the twin hospital, it gives them a platform in which a hospital can have a direct contact and regular consultation to exchange information. As you can see from the video shown earlier on, you can see, the nurses from the Thai side can share information on how to treat patients in Isan dialect as well. They can share information about the warning system of emergent and re-emergent diseases. They can also refer patient back and forth. And in addition to that, we also support necessary medical equipment as well. Next slide, please. So apart from the collaboration to exchange information and consultation, Thaiga also provides support in the infrastructure and the hardware of this twin hospital in the Laos, inside Laos as well. For example, as shown on this slide, you can see the OPD and ER department of Pak Song Hospital, which was constructed by the Royal Thai government. And along with the construction of this building, we also supplied necessary medical equipment. We also helped with the setting up with the system to ensure that everything could be run smoothly. In the next presentation from Ms. Pimontipa, you will hear more about how this hospital can be used in the time of crisis as well. So this is the Pak Song Hospital, which we help completing the construction as well. So next slide, please. So these are all the countries that we developed the referral system through the twin hospital mechanism. In response to the concerted effort to create land links and promote investment, not only in the provinces in Isan region, like Ubon Ratchathani or Khon Kaen, but also this referral system is linked to hospital in other areas like Sawanakhet and Champasak, as well province in Laos. And it is a part of the same system. Therefore, if something happens to the people from both sides, as well as international visitors, or even tourists or international investors, they can rest assured that there is a referral system in place, and there will be from medical services, that will be provided to you. With this referral system and strong health infrastructure, it surely does make Isan very conducive for investments. The referral system does not limit to the public hospital only, but also private hospitals in both countries as well. I'm certain that Ms. Pimontipa and Dr. Barinya will talk more on the medical services for referred patients in their presentations. So finally, what we try to showcase with our health diplomacy through development cooperation is that we have done a lot of work in strengthening of our health system in border provinces. We have a good health infrastructure in place. So I'm sure that Isan region will offer so much opportunities for you. So lastly, if you wish to explore more about Tiger's development cooperation, we also work in other areas as well, like agriculture, education, and labor. So feel free to look at our website as shown on the screen here. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask me or any other speaker. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Krongkwan, for providing a background at the global and national level and about your mandate of TIGA. And she already touched on the cooperation with the Ministry of Public Health. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Sawapak Injoy, the Director of Office of International Collaboration, Department of Disease Control, Ministry of Public Health. Sawapak, the floor is yours.
สวัสดีค่ะ Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity for sharing with you on border health cooperation at national and international level. Many projects that TIGA Dr. Krongkwan has already explained and show in the details about the project of the TIGA that collaborate within the Ministry of Public Health. So you can see that in the TIGA project that initiate is kind of like the importance of the piece of jigsaw in enhancement of the disease prevention and control. From my section, I would like to share you some example of these projects. Next slide, please. Okay, our next slide, please. Okay, this kind of like let's start within the findings from evaluation of the strategic implementation of international cooperation on disease prevention and control that the Office of International Cooperation at the Department of Disease Control conducted last year. If we look narrow scope at the border areas between Thailand and Laos, we will see a lot of strengths. This border area has in their strong multi-sectoral network. It means that not only health sector, but it also different sector, including in the foreign relations or livestock or in the agricultural sector that we work together. More projects are in the development and expansion of the real-time surveillance for early detection that equipped with the a workforce development on in the epidemiological staff between that also occur in the border areas between Thailand and Laos. Many ongoing systems also occur, such as like a patient referral system and joint research and development between two countries. Anyway, we still have like some challenge that need to be overcome. For example, the border area between Thailand and Laos need more experts in the area, particularly in the area of the concentration of the international cooperation. And also, we would like to integrate in the health information database for like a sharing information between two countries. Mekong Health also have in there some unclear solution, and especially for in their definition for in the practice in the Mekong Health insurance. Next slide, please. Okay, here are some projects that has been implemented under the MOU between Thailand and neighboring countries. Just not for this slide, we not like a focus only in the Thailand and Laos, but also for like other neighboring countries. The common activity that most countries have in the mutual interest is such as strengthening preparedness and response on emerging infectious disease, including COVID-19, and capacity building on healthcare personnel. Thailand and Cambodia Health Corporation have in the twin hospital development. That is the highlight activity. Our TIGA is a key player to support this project through the Department of Disease Control Corporation. Next slide, please. And let's learn from COVID-19. Taught us to understand how important of the whole of government and whole of society approach. That is the reason why the Department of Disease Control has implemented enhancing global health security project at the subnational level along the border area. You can see the list of the province that we implemented project from on the map. That's in the many provinces in the northeast part of Thailand that in the joy in our project, just like Sisaket, Nong Khai, and also Bungan, that we already implement and have like more discussion within the local staff in those provinces. We encourage what we are doing. We encourage in the multi-sectoral partners that's beyond the health sector in the province to analyze the health concern or the health topic that it can be like the priority disease in the area. And then we ask them to think to set the forum to think about what they can do for the future activity. So their discussion is just not only from the opinion of the health sector, but it's come from the people who are in the real player in the field area. So then we are set the forum that in the local level and the central level can join together, and then in the local level can ask technical advice and also sometimes the budget to support their own activities. On the right hand side, we can see what the health problem that the provincial staff address and plan to overcome are these challenges, such as antimicrobial resistant or zoonotic disease, Emergency Operation Center or EOC, and cross-border agreement. Next, please. We also received their technical and budget support from the Thailand Ministry of Public Health and USCDC in 2 projects. The first one is capacity and workforce development to strengthen emergency preparedness and response operations. This project aims to enhance emergency operation center of each country. So the COVID-19, you can see that we talk about in the EOC. That is important factor in all the countries to respond with the COVID-19. So for this project, we have implemented the pilot program in Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and Malaysia. We also survey a need of each country, what they want to develop the capacity in main indicator under the EOC. Infodemic management workshop. That's for the official in each country is the top priority that the country want to increase capacity for their staff. So we plan to conduct the workshop and describe the workshop and invite the participants from neighboring countries to attend on-site class next couple months. Next slide, please. And this other project is we call the enhancing multi-sectoral collaboration capacity for prevention, detection, and response to public health emergency along the border area. Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's we have like a Kun Pam. That is one of the Thai staff that joined with our project as well. And the Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Defense, NGO, are our target to improve the capacity for prevention, detection, and response to any public health emergency around the border areas. We conduct a training workshop to train the people to understand how to strengthen the core capacity in the exchange of reporting information. a sole tabletop exercise to respond emerging infectious disease are ongoing in the T-border province right now. And now in the team, my team also in the contribute tabletop exercise in Nan province that in the north part of Thailand. We also published in the weekly report to inform any potential health threat that may occur, especially in border area, and distribute the weekly report to other sectors. Next, please. Mekong Basin Disease Surveillance, or MBDS, is the regional platform that we propose some projects to be implemented under this platform. The MBDS composed of the 6 countries, including Cambodia, China, Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, and Vietnam. This year, Thailand is a current chair of the executive board of the MBDS. Our direction is to strengthen national core capacity on disease surveillance and information sharing for public health international concern among each other in accordance with the International Health Regulation 2005 or IHR. We are also looking for further collaboration with the partnerships on disease surveillance and workforce development as well. Okay, on the activity that I just showed you, this is only like some example of the many area of the cooperation of Thailand and other countries in bilateral and the regional platform. Thank you very much for providing me to share this kind of experiences, and it's my pleasure if you would like to have the questions or suggestions during the Q&A section. Thank you.
Thank you, Sawapak, for giving us more in-depth of how we drive the mandate of TIGA into the policy at the Ministry of Public Health. And definitely your work cannot be done if we don't have a strong people at the subnational. So next, I would like to introduceพี่มนทิพา มาลาหอม the Senior Policy Analyst at the Provincial Health Office, อุบลราชธานี to provide her presentation. คุณพี่มนทิพา please. You may have to unmute.
Thank you very much, Ajahn and the Thai Embassy also. I'm very excited. I would like to share about my experience that I work along the border with neighboring country, because Thani, as my governor said, that we are a big city and we close to Laos, two countries, to Cambodia and to Laos PDR. And we have 10 districts close to Laos. The ICHC that I work here, it is on 2015. We call the International Collaboration Health Center. At that time, we become to the ASEAN, and this is we focus on the border health cooperation. We work with Thai and Laos and Cambodia provinces. And the next slide, please. So this is, I would like to show you the map of love that I say, map of love and share. For Ubon-Ratchathani, you can cross 3-4 countries in one day. When you arrive in the Ubon-Ratchathani International Airport, you can cross international checkpoint at Chiang Mai, go to Laos, cross to Laos to Cambodia Central, and the last one you can cross to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, south of Vietnam. In one day trip, you can go there. That's why in this point we concern very much about this point. If something happened there, or we have the migration of people across from the border, from Cambodia, from Vietnam, across to from Laos to Thai side at the international checkpoint or temporary checkpoint or some natural checkpoint, how can we deal with this point? But TIGA helped me a lot to strengthen capacity for the healthcare provider in Thai side and in Laos side, and we have a good collaboration. In the next slide, please. For the activity of system and mechanism of cooperation, we work in under 4 issues. The first one for MOU, we follow the MOU in the national level that's signed by Ministry of Public Health of Thai and Laos side, and after that we operate to the local level as we work last 2 years. We We work with the neighboring country, with the twin city of Laos, because Ubalakatani, we have close to 3 provinces. Maybe someone don't know. We close to Savanakhet province, we close to Salawan province, and we close to Champasak province as well. At that time, we have a workshop and to share what we want to do, and if we do like this in the health, we have gap or not in the health sector to work together. After that, we know we create what we want to do and happy together. Because we have good luck, we talk in the same language, we have the same culture and traditional, so it's easy to work together. And the second one, after that, we have the joint action plan. For the joint action plan of Twin City, we have to province Ubon work with joint action plan with Salawan province and Champasak province. After we have the effect from COVID, it's like it cannot continue to work. However, we still keep tag, to communicate by chat, via line, and via call, our messenger. Right now, we share information about COVID-19 in Thailand and in Laos. Every day, the healthcare provider from Laos send information about COVID, the situation in Laos to me, in the whole country. And the third one about the cooperation with the GO and NGO. During we work in this point, we not like focus on international level, but if we can work or to work in Laos side, we have a friend who work with ADB, with World Bank, and sometimes we work in the international NGO in Laos side and in Thai side as well. We would like to join in this point, we join with it. And the last one, as Kun Khong Pan said, we focus and would like to strengthen the reform system, because every year we have many cases from Laos referred at the checkpoint to Thai side, especially in the head injury, in the from accident, from some part of coronary heart disease of NCD. So in this part, right now we strengthen the collaboration about the referral system. And the next, please. I would like to show the achievement, as Kun Khong Pan said, that on 2015, Pak Song Houston is good luck. We have the Princess Lincoln to open there, and Shumbek like closely to work, make a good relationship to work with Laos, because Laos is highly respect from Princess Lincoln. In this point right now, until 2015 until now, we still keep relationship and good relationship with them. Many cases of Laos that they would like to refer from Pak Song by transportation to Champasak and cross to Thai. We can call via line or messenger about the sign and symptom of the patient, and we prepare to pick them from the checkpoint to the hospital that they want to go. The next, please. The next, please. In this is sincerely thank Thaiga. Next, back, please. We would like to sincerely thank for Thaiga. This made me proud myself. It is the first time that the Thai group of healthcare provider can set team to set up the exercise in Laos side. We invite all of participants or stakeholders in Laos to join with us. We spend time 3 days. We set time, we invite the healthcare provider from Salawan Hospital, from Sekong and from Atapur to join with us. After we set up and training this program, 1 month we have Laos faced with a big problem about sapien and senam noise. You see, we have broken that. The next, please. Then, please. Before we go there, after we set up the referral system, we have a stakeholder that we talk with the private sector, Bangkok Hospital, Umalak Thonburi in Ubon Ratchathani. We discuss a lot. It should be possible or not. We have many investment of Thai or Mekong-Korea and Japan and many tourism from the western to traveling in Laos. Some cases where the accident is severe accident, they would like to cross the border by safety. We discussed about air ambulance between Ubon Hospital, Bangkok Hospital, and Ubon Ratchathani Public Health Office. It means to manage to cooperate. At that time, it's nearly 100%, but after COVID happened, it made me like this, is keep quite silent. And for the next, please. The next slide, please. This is very important that I would like to say that the first group across the border to help during the damage of Sapiens Dam at night of 23 of July. I received the call from the director of help me. Do you know my dam in Laos is damaged? Many people is close. We cannot find the body. I called to him. May I help you, please? At this time, you are my friend. You fed with the CBI. Can I help you? He said that he would like our team should be possible across today because we speak in the same language. We can communicate. After that, I talked with my boss. We set up to coordinate and work with the merged team from Thailand, from Voyatani and Manti sector to move to support and manage emergency disaster assistance work in case of the Sapien and Sinamnoi Dam severe broken at Sanam Sai district at the Phu province because the province is close to Vietnam and close to Cambodia. And the next, please. This is more than one word, you know. My team cannot, some cases cannot speak in English. When we work there, we work with UN team, WHO team, with Japanese, with China team, with Korea team. But we can join together. We use body language. We can have each other. This is to share with you when we cross the border, not stay in Thailand, how to keep in our mind in sensitive point. We concerned about if you would like to do, we can do. The next, please. And this is sincerely thank Thaiga again. After in Laos, I faced with the big huge of migrants. They return their hometown after severe case in Thailand. How can we help them? Sarawan and Tampasak call me. Can you help me, please, sister? Now we lack of equipment. We lack of medical equipment and material. Can you help me or not? I discussed with Thaiga with Kun Kong Pan. Can we change the amendment and to prepare something to help our friends? She said that you can do. So after that, we deliver medical equipment and material to donate Laos during the crisis of COVID-19. Not only equipment, do you know, we have medical consultation 4 times. The first time they called to me, need you help me or not? We have how to manage COVID from Thailand, how to manage about pregnant women, children who got COVID, how to manage the body or to set up the cohort ward in Laos. So after that, we set medical consultation. Sincerely thank to Thaiga so much in this point. Laos, when Laos said every time, thank you Thaiga, thank you Thaiga. I didn't know who is Thaiga. I said you will know next time. And the next, please. And the last one for challenges, I would like to share with you. Right now, last year we had the exercise ambulance with a network in Voyatani, many sectors to join us in many sectors. Many sectors. Do you know Bangkok Hospital donate 1 million, more than 1 million baht to set up this program for us to help Voyatani and would like to connect with the Laos side because they have investment a lot of Thai and many countries to have investment in Laos. And the last one, I would love to see the border health of change. I would like to see Srinthorn Hospital, the name of Princess Srinthorn, to set up to the best reference system to take care to help people who come across the border. We don't mind who you are, who am I. When you face with the serious case, you can cross the border to Srinthorn and Srinthorn can take care of you and send you to the cruise services in Thai side. And the next services you can listen from Dr. Parinya. Okay, Ajahn, thank you so much. And if you have any question, you can ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Pimodipa, for your hands-on experience and in showing us that how you have worked with the counterpart on the other side of the border. We start to run out of time, so we, without further delay, I would like to ask Dr. Parinya Shamnan, the Deputy Director of San Prasit Pasong Hospital, which although is located in the province, but the care is really tertiary care in Ubon Ratchathani, the same province that Pimontipa who just presented. Dr. Parinya, the floor is yours, please.
ขอบคุณครับอาจารย์คันชิตครับ Thank you very much. And in the next brief 8 minutes or so, I'm gonna talk about cross-border healthcare, particularly focus on burdened activities that we have been doing in perhaps the last few years so far as a hospital, as a healthcare provider. Let me start by giving a glimpse of our hospital services. San Prasit Chipasong Hospital is a 1,200-bed tertiary care hospital serving 1.9 million people of Ubon Ratchathani, and it is also the referral center for all other hospitals in 5 provinces in the region of 4.6 million people. It is one of the largest public hospitals in the country with a full range of medical services, centers of excellence in cardiovascular disease, in newborn care, in cancer treatments, in transplantation, and so on. So it's great. It's excellent and well-equipped hospital indeed. But when it comes to the issue of cross-border healthcare, I think it is a different story, especially when we look at it from a political perspective. As you can see in this map, I think you would expect the same thing, that, there may be a huge discrepancy in healthcare and healthcare services between countries on both sides of the borders. And to be specific, there are many well-equipped hospitals, healthcare services, both public and private, on Thailand side, while only a few are available on the other side. For this, you can expect that there are many people, Laos people in particular, traveling across the border to seek for the treatments and medical care and health care that they want, if they could afford one. This slide shows the number of outpatient visits and also hospital admission of foreigner patients in healthcare regions, which Ubon Ratchathani constitute the largest proportion of this burden, followed by Mukdahan province. Pretty much the same pattern for OPD visits and hospitalization at our hospital. You can see the consistent increase in the burden over time before, a rapid drop in OPD visits and hospitalizations during the pandemic of COVID-19. We look into detail the outpatients and inpatient or hospitalization visits. It is very interesting indeed. You can see on the left panel, the panel A, approximately half of all outpatient visits of foreigners were from patients from Cambodia. In contrast, you see in the figure on your right, the large majority, 81% to be exact, of all hospital admissions of foreigners were from patients from Laos. It suggests that maybe that patient from Laos may be presenting with hugely different health problems or diseases from those from Cambodia. Looking into detail on both outpatient and inpatient diseases and problems, you can see here from the highlight that that most on the list are those common chronic non-communicable disease. For example, diabetes, hypertension, dyslipidemia, or even stomach aches, and with some of the cancers here on the list. And when you look at the hospitalization on the right, very interesting that, many on the list are those considered to be basic essential healthcare. For example, those that are related to maternal and child care, labor pain, spontaneous vaginal delivery, and so on, with some serious heart diseases here as well, and pneumonia, which is the infection of the lungs, and some cancers also on the list. With this, also quite complicated, right? For us to be able to provide quality healthcare, I would say, for this group of patients, a number of strategies and initiatives have to be put in place. This is from, improvement in hospital services for this group of patients to development of the infrastructures and staff training on the other side of the border. For example, our hospital has, I would say, so-called no discrimination policy in healthcare for foreigners. We have a dedicated team to work on this. In particular, we established the Foreigner Customer Service Center. We put in place service flow for foreigner patients, and also we provide translating services if needed. We also, as Pimontipa mentioned earlier, that we have medical consultation, cross-border referral system, drug delivery system, and during COVID pandemic time, in particularly when most of the borders are closed, we also developed the postal drug delivery service, which has been implemented for some time. But the system is relatively slow because of working in multiple different platforms, and also working with different related parties. All of this work inevitably comes with some costs. As you can see in the figure, the cost, the healthcare costs increase over time, okay, let alone, the year that COVID came in. Okay, with 20 and 25% of the costs were not paid or reimbursed. But this is so striking. Despite this, we still continue to provide healthcare for this group of patients. To me, we need to find the right balance between, providing treatment, healthcare for those in need, regardless of their background, ethnicity, nationalities, and so on. And on the other side, how could we survive financially as an organization? To sum up, I think we observe increasing healthcare burden, clinically and also financially as well, from taking care of foreign patients. A number of initiatives and systems has been put in place to achieve a better healthcare in this group of patients. But of course, there are many gaps for improvements. One of the things that we think is very crucial is comprehensive IT platform that can link or connect the two countries together. But with that in mind, with some financial constraints, I believe the current approaches may not be seen as sustainable, and I think the right balance between providing treatment and healthcare to those in need and financial burden need to be achieved, possibly through the support from the governments of both countries, as well as from the NGO involved. That's the end of my talk. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prinya, for keeping the time. I think you have heard about the one of the largest hospital in Thailand, Sat-Prasong Hospital, and with that, this is a government or public hospital. We may have heard from slightly from Dr. Krong Kwan already about the government policy on medical hub system. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to touch on that. I may ask a small question to Dr. Prinya that if you can invite a Korean doctor to come and temporarily work at your hospital, what would you say?
Definitely. We'll be happy to do so. Definitely.
Okay.
And on behalf of the director of the
I
hospital.
also see that you mentioned about the need for improving the digital technology in that also. I don't know whether Dr. Krong Kwan can say a few words about medical hub policy of the government.
Yes, definitely. What Tiger has done is that we try to strengthen, because when I mentioned earlier on in my presentation, the referral system or the twin hospital system, it is something that the Ministry of Public Health has been doing over, like even before the border health project started. But what Tiger has done is that we strengthen and make it, like insert the diplomacy into the core of their work. So now that the system is in place, I think that Isan is quite, a good place for visitors to come and rest, if they have any illnesses or long-term illnesses that they want to have a good place to have medical services. I think that Isan is definitely a good choice for them as well, because the infrastructure is already in there.
So thank you very much. Since we don't have time for questions, I would like to invite the audience that if you have any comments or questions, you can always communicate to our embassy who is in Seoul. So with that, I would like to use this opportunity to thank all 4 excellent speakers that joined this session. So I would like to return the floor to our MC, Kunchon Hansa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kanchit, our moderator, and also a special thanks to our speakers. That was absolutely an insightful session, I would say, as we see the developments of the cross-border health systems and services. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as Thailand forges ahead to attain its goal on sustainable development, Smart City concept has actually been at the forefront of the country's master plan. So our next topic will be exploring on the idea of smart cities and infrastructure. The session is to be moderated by Associate Professor Dr. Piti Srisangnam, Director of Academic Affairs at the ASEAN Studies Center and International Economics Center at the Faculty of Economics, Chulalongkorn University. And our distinguished panelists joining us today in this debate include Mr. Kangwan Lawiro Janakun, co-founder of Khon City Development Company Limited, Dr. Non Akkara Prasertgun, Smart City Promotion Expert from the Digital Economy Promotion Agency or DEPA, Dr. Supakon Sitichai, Group Executive Vice President of Digital Economy Promotion Agency. So before we get into the details, here's a short video presentation on smart city developments and the infrastructure plans. Let's take a look.
นะครับในซิตี้บัสของเราเนี่ยก็จะมีความสะดวกสบายในการใช้บริการนะครับท่านมีเงินสดก็สามารถจ่ายด้านหน้าได้เลยนะครับแต่ว่าท่านไม่มีสามารถใช้บัตรเครดิตได้นะครับบัตร ATM ก็ได้นะครับหรือไม่ก็สแกน QR Code ได้นะครับวัดเราก็ได้ร่วมมือกับหลายฝ่ายนะครับโดยเฉพาะแอปพลิเคชันเกียร์บัสนะครับซึ่งเราร่วมมือกันที่จะให้ผู้โดยสารสามารถรู้ตำแหน่งของรถได้โดยที่ไม่ต้องมายืนรอนะครับว่ารถจะเข้าเทียบเมื่อไหร่จะถึงเมื่อไหร่นะครับสามารถดูได้และก็ไปรอรถได้ตรงกับเวลาที่รถจอดพอดี
Annyeonghaseyo. Good afternoon and sawadee krab. Welcome to session 2 of the Isan into the future. This session 2 will focus on the issues of smart cities and infrastructures. And from the video presentations, you see we have so many developments happen in northeastern part of Thailand related to smart cities and a better infrastructures. So without further ado, I would like to introduce the first panelist to share and elaborate more about what's going to happen in terms of like related to smart cities in Isan province, in Isan area. So the first speakers will be Dr. Supakorn Sithichai. Currently, he is the Group Executive Vice President of Digital Economies Promotion Agency or DPA. So without further ado, please welcome Dr. Supakorn. เรียนเชิญอาจารย์สุภกรครับ
Okay, thanks very much for the introduction. I think the slides on the screen are not my slides. Hang on. Okay, let me share my slide now. Yep. Okay, so good afternoon, delegates from both Korea and Thai sides. It's my privilege to be joining this Mekong-Korea Connect webinar. So I would like to give you the overview picture of how smart city is being developed in Thailand. So when the Thai government had smart city initiative in place about 5 years ago, then I think it was when it was a new phrase for everyone. So people tend to, when they hear about smart city, then they tend to think about technologies. But since we've been working with various sectors, and DPA, who is one of the main agencies responsible for Smart City Initiative, we have come to a conclusion, or we've come to the point where when we go out and trying to promote Smart City, then we usually relate it to the word livable city, rather than some kind of high technology led city. So that's the first key idea that I wanted to bring everyone's attention to. So this picture, I think, does very well, in terms of relaying what I try to say. So as parents, we all want to keep our children happy and give them the best we can. And so in this picture, what the children or what the baby can see is not quite exactly what the parents wanted them to see. So, this picture I always related to how smart cities are being developed or being publicized everywhere, which is we have to listen to the users or the residents, or in this case, the baby, to really understand, what the users are experiencing or what the baby is saying in this case. So there have been a few examples of smart cities which are not related to technologies. In this case, for example, there's one of the canals in Bangkok. On the left-hand side is what it used to be, where there were a lot of houses or sheds being built to cover the river. So the river the canal is actually underneath those houses, and on the right is what it looks like now. So even though cities are generating or the main generator of income and also the main contributor of GDP, but on the other hand, we are also reaching the limits of what a city can provide. In this case, there are a few examples of what we are causing, or what the cities are putting pressure, or what the people in the city are putting pressure on the city infrastructure, including that we who live in the city generate about 70% of the global waste, and also we, as people that live in the city, consume about 80% of non-clean and non-renewable energy, and also many inefficiencies, including traffic congestion. So DEPA, as a promoter of digital technology and digital industry in Thailand, we also want to promote smart cities as area-based agenda. So we have been working as a secretariat of the Smart City National Steering Committee, and so far we have had about 50 cities who have already joined our initiative and have developed the smart city development proposals and submitted to us. And out of these 50 cities, about 15 of them have already been approved and granted incentives accordingly. So this is the picture of how we work together with the central government, and as well as those in the regions or cities across the country. So on the right-hand side, as I already mentioned, that we are secretariats of the steering committee, and of course we work together with many other agencies, including the Board of Investment and many other bodies, to provide the right incentives for the cities and also for the operators to join our initiative. And not only we work in terms of policy and promotion, but we also work in terms of capacity building, where we provide different activities, including training courses, awareness raising activities, and also working closely with cities in programs such as Smart City Ambassador, where we provide training and support to a representative from cities, so they understand and can support the city accordingly in terms of planning for smart city development and other activities such as data collection and also incubating more people in the area. So I talked about this smart city development proposal. So each city is encouraged to come up with this proposal, and within this proposal, basically it helps them align with government direction, but of course it has to be aligned with the local context as well. So within this proposal, we encourage them to take the local context and think about how they want to make use of available technologies, including how to make use of data that have been generated from various cities, city services, to make the right decision, as well as to be sustainable in the longer term. So there are three concepts that we always promote, that technology works in the background. So this is a picture of the city of Vienna, which many of us might have heard that they have been on the top of the world, the most livable city ranking for many years in a row. The second concept is always, of course, we as government cannot work alone in this initiative. We have to work with partners, especially the private partners. And this is also an example of how we work with international partners, where we have support from the Korea Transport Institute, or KOTI, together with the task force of KONCAN, K-City Global Collaboration Program. And this project was granted last year to promote transit-oriented development in the city of KONCAN. And two pilots have been carried out. One is to provide priority signal for emergency service service vehicles, and another one is on the smart crosswalk, where we use computer vision technology to detect nearby pedestrians and provide appropriate signals to the traffic accordingly. And last but not least is the concept of where cities should be data-driven. As a digital technology promoter, of course, we see that once we can have the view of what's going on from different services within the city, then we can make the better decision. And these are the 15 cities that I mentioned earlier, who have already been approved of the smart city development proposals. And the red ones denote new or greenfield city development, whereas the blue ones denote the existing cities, where we want to upgrade them with proper digital technologies. And this is the handbook on the smart city in Thailand. So if you're interested, then you can download it using this link below. So that concludes my talk. And thanks for, I hand it back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Supakorn Kamsahamnida. This is the explanations, the updated situations of the smart cities development in Bangkok from the perspectives of the government sectors, from the government agencies. So now we'll switch to the panelists, the speakers from the private sectors. I will hand the presentations to Mr. Kangwan Laovirod Janakun, co-founders of the Khon City Development or KKTT. So, Kun Kangwan, the floor is yours.
ครับขอบคุณครับ Hi everyone, I'm Kangwan Laovirod Janakun. I'm a co-founder of KKTT or Khon City Development. Yes, Khon City Development, we start with why everything come like this today. So we try to find a way to solve the problem, to improve our city. And yes, we Khon people, a local think that same thing. So try to find other ways that sometimes the way is not we never think about. And this a local people. All of the co-founder is a local businessman, and very variety of the kind of business we come together because actually Khon we all together for a long time from the my father, some yes, and all of ages we come together, and not just the private sector. We work together with the municipality. We work together with the governor and so on inside the city to find a way to develop our city. And yes, we think about the three bottom lines about the environmental protection, social responsibility, and economic success. And the center is sustainable. We try to find a sustainable way for our city. Firstly, we start like actually more than 20 years ago think about how to develop our city. But about 7 years ago, we start like make it stronger, how to improve our and grow our city. So we think about first start come with the mobility drive city. And yes, we want to try to improve our old city center that is normally in every province is the city center is already die. So we try and cooperate with the governor and municipality and also the Khon University, try to get the possibility study about the route of the public transportation, how we plan for the future of the city. And yes, we think about the way to get the permission to improve our public transportation. That is on the left side, sorry, in Thai, is the normal way. But we try about the new way on the right side that make it shorter. Try to improve our city that is, like a small city in country. It's not the capital city. So we come up with the project about the rail transit. And yes, it's not just the rail transit. We have the TOD, transit oriented development, and so on, package in the project to start what is we think is the hardest, the project to improve the city. So we started first. And this from 7 years ago, now today, we have the local company that have the capacity to develop our own the rail transit that we cooperate with the ราชมงคลอีสาน the university and also the local company that is a Shortway public development. We create this together to be the first the rail transit inside the city. And yes, the way we get the permission is not easy because normally if we are private sector want to make the rail transit, we cannot make it ourselves. We have to get the permission. So we packed with the governor. It is about 5 years ago. Packed with governor and the mayor to talk with the central government. And yes, we get this one. This the company. Sorry. This is the company that is all of the co-founder of the company is the local municipalities. All of the shareholder is the local municipalities. So we call it the SPV, special purpose vehicle, to get all the permission to develop all the public transportation, the infrastructure of the city. And so on. It's just November last year, we signed the MOA to develop and find a way to get our own budget. Because normally the public transportation, we have not enough budget. If we have to ask from the central government, they also not enough budget to separate to our province. So we try to find our budget by our own also. And this all the structure that we done in the past until now. We try to connect between central government, you see on the left side, and also the local government and the strategic plan of the city. That's so Khon Kaen we have the Khon Kaen Smart City strategy, 2029. This plan we put into the provincial strategic plan. So our province have the smart city strategic plan for next 7 or 9 years. And also we got the public and private special committee for Khon Kaen. This is another new thing that Khon Kaen get the team to develop city to make city to be the smart city that is not just a governor to control the team. It's also the private sector that we can keep it continuously, because normally the governor have to change year by year, sometimes 5 years or 4 years, but they keep change. So we try to make it continuously. Also on the right side is the budget. We try to find a budget for many ways. Yes, Khon Kaen think about what is the index of the smart city. We keep thinking many years ago, and we know that is the first thing is the human capital. So we make it a lot about the human capital. And this is the flow plan of the Khon Kaen smart city. We think a lot about the infrastructure of the smart city that you see on the bottom. We studied the transportation and also the TOD, transit-oriented development, and the soft side is the Wi-Fi, sensor, IoT, big data. The best thing is we do about the SCOPC, that is a Smart City Operation Center, that is right now have the located in the Khon Kaen University at the Sci Park in the Khon Kaen University, to gather all the data of the city to generate to be the smart city, each pillar on the top. And that's smart city that Khon Kaen doing right now from the past until now is not just the iceberg. It's just not at the top of the iceberg. We do because we know that if we can make Khon Kaen to be the smart city, we can deal with many problems that is under the sea. We use the transdisciplinary. That we know that in the past we try to let some team did what they special, but it's not the whole system. It's not the whole problem we can solve. So we try transdisciplinarily to solve the problem, and that's our governor that he tried to separate the concept of the smart city that is start from the city center to separate to all over the provinces. And when we do a lot about the things about the smart city, so we can spread out what we did. We can educate outside people, outside team from the other countries or inside the country, or from the central government or from the central private sector. So we got the team to help us in the city to develop the city center to be better. About the smart energy, there is Banpu Next, smart living, Benjachinda Group, also the smart economy from Midpon Group, and so on from Thai Union about smart farming. They all come to city and talk with us about what we are doing, so what they can join. That what is the little thing that we think about is the learning space and also the creative space. Sichan Creative Tour. Actually, Sichan is the name of the center street, center road of the city. That is used to be the business center, but it just used to be because the small road and no parking and the business and the shop over there have to close, okay, and got the side of renting also. So we've tried to make it get live again, that to be use the technology and use the what is cooperate with the CEA also, creative agency economy of the have the office here, also the municipality try to make it live again, and so the people can come back to open the shop inside the city again. And this is what is we call is content model. As we start from the bottom is the leadership, the sense of loving hometown, also the triangle. We use the 3 triangle to move to solve the problem. And what is at the center is very, very important. That content has is a social enterprise, low ego, and also the share vision, and so on to start the content model and solve it to go to be the sustainable development. And this is the picture of the content from the past and now, and something in the future. We already done many things inside the picture, and that's just some of the factor of the smart city. And right now, this is the new thing that we come and we start for the smart city, for the new thing for the city people. Is we talk about the physical income and virtual income. We think like the digital should be as a utility for the city people, so they can use every people, not just not just the high technology people can use that. And we know that the blockchain and the new technology is a new thing. It's not just it's not the thing from the past that we learned for long time. It's a new things, but new things can help people to find a new way to get the revenue. So it's a double revenue they can find from the physical and also the digital. And this okay, just a picture that if you can ask the 3 wishes, what you will ask. Content right now develop the thing that is called infinite land holding. We start with the token that is not the speculate token. It's not for exchange. It's a token for learning. It's a token for utility. It's just like the point that when we use to when you buy the thing that you get a point. So content token, and we call it the KGO, knowledge governance token. That will help the shop, the city people, and the businessman and the consumer learn about how to use the token and the blockchain. And so on, we try to make it the whole ecosystem. That is the NFT and also the metaverse. That NFT we will educate to the artists and the local one or new generation of the city people, that they can create their own NFT. That is another way to get another revenue from the blockchain. Also the metaverse, that is to make it the full system. They can have like an online shop, but it's in the metaverse. That is, you can do website, you can use your life, another life in the metaverse also. And our metaverse will connect to other metaverse all over the world. So what we think to to develop for the people. If you think about this also, there's the infographic that is have the KGO token. Right now it's the name Infinite Land Metaverse, also the NFT and games. And the last but not least is actually can develop many things and try to make our city by cooperation inside the city. It's not just private sector, it's not just the municipality, local government, the central government, and also the education team and so on. Because we think that we want to improve our city in every way. That's what we try to make Khon Kaen to be the smart city. And we still keep going and working to finish the goal that we think to not leave any people. Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kun Kangwan. I think what Kun Kangwan present to you confirm the concept that Dr. Supakorn tell you earlier about the smart city is not only for technologies, it's not only for the engineer, but of course the smart city is the way to improve and create a livable cities for people. You know, Khon Kaen model is one of the most advanced smart city development model, not only for Isan or northeastern part of Thailand, but this is the one of the best model in Southeast Asia that's created and initiated by local people. I've been to Khon Kaen every year for 10 years already because I have a class at Khon Kaen University, and I see a lot of developments that happens in Khon Kaen initiated by public sectors, private sectors that join their hand to develop Khon Kaen. So if you have a chance to visit Thailand, Khon Kaen is another destination you have to visit. And without further ado, I would like to introduce the third presentations in these sessions for today. Please welcome Dr. Non Akhara Praserkun. He is the Smart City Promotion Expert from BPA, Digital Economies Promotion Agency. So Dr. Non, the floor is yours.
ขอบคุณครับอาจารย์ปิติครับ Hi guys, thank you for having me today. It's an honor, and I think we learned so much today already from the first sessions and this sessions alone. We learned from Dr. Supakorn and Kun Kangwan, who shared with us so many great ideas about what smart cities are all about, and especially Kun Kangwan, who told us immensely about the initiatives and ideas that Khon Kaen has been doing within the past few years. The progress has been immense, and the successes has been proven to be very evident. It's one of the role model, one of the poster child, one of the superstar of smart city of Thailand. So in my role as a senior expert, and of course I am also a local son of Isan. I was born in Bangkok, but I grew up in Nakhon Ratchasima in a small little district called CQ. I feel like Isan is actually my home, and it's I have a closest feeling and of course emotion for the development of Isan in the right direction. So in my talk today, I just wanted to do a couple things. I want to set up the definition for smart cities. Dr. Supakorn already mentioned that smart city is a livable cities, but what does it really mean for city to be livable? And the other thing I wanted to do is to share with you three trends that I think would encompass the whole idea of smart cities for at least the next few years, and believe that these will be very relevant to the development of Isan as a very important regions of the Southeast Asian region as a whole. So next slide, please. So let's start with the definition of smart cities. I did some exercise before in terms of psychologies, and I asked people to close their eyes and tell me what pictures comes to their mind when they heard the word smart cities. And the first picture is the next one. 1/3 of the people imagine something like this. They saw pictures of high-rises buildings and a lot of highways and places that looks almost futuristic in its representation because of the advance and hyper-modernities representing in their cityscapes, right? And it's definitely not wrong, but it's not all. Because if you look at this picture, it looks amazing. By the way, this is Dubai in United Arab Emirates. I was there for 2 months because Deepa was actually in charge of the expo in Dubai for the Thailand Pavilion section as well. And I realized is that it looks impressive in postcards, but when you actually live there and you realize is that the human scale is missing, it's almost impossible to actually find yourself as a smart citizens within the cities. I mean, there are good dimensions of Dubai, but the dimensions that's lacking is the human scale that make you feel like you're part of the cities. Next slide, please. The other things that people tend to see when they look at smart cities is the idea that there's connectivity behind the cityscape. Whatever you're doing, your data is being collected all the time. Whatever you are, wherever you are moving to, your movements always track. So it is not true. It is not wrong, but it's not all true because, of course, smart cities, as Dr. Supakan mentioned, make use of data in order to turn them into feel and turn them into meaningful stuff for decision-making processes. But on the other hand, if the cities that are smarter than before is all about collecting data, we wouldn't want to be living there because we feel like it's a surveillance state. Next one, please. And the 1/3 of the people who did the survey showed me that they saw pictures of drones flying across the horizon and robots walking on the streets, like in the science fictions that we saw over the past few years. This is really one of the nicest representations that people came up with when they thought of smart cities. Not all wrong, but not all true, because in the world we are living in today, robots are understood as narrow AI, narrow artificial intelligence. They are not very smart yet. We have to go another step towards the ideas of having cities that are smart because of the robots and drones. So although this is one of the good pictures to have because it speaks to how machines are working on behalf of the citizens, it's not all about that. Next slide, please. So let me turn to the picture that Dr. Supakan already showed to you. This is Aspern, which is a city at the outskirts of Vienna in Austria. What you see here is important. People having fun. What you don't see here is also important. Technology is in the background. We don't see drones and robots walking on the streets of Aspern because technology works in the background. The traffic light works so well, so these guys get to come home 45 minutes earlier, so spend time in the greeneries and public spaces. There's no trash at all because the logistics of getting trash from the entire spectrums of its supply chain, from where it was created all the way to where it was to be diminished, to be gotten rid of, are completely taken care of by IoT services and, of course, data platform. And the air quality is extremely well taken care of because the smart monitoring sensors the quality of the air and tells people where they should be at a certain time of the day. All these are all about technology in the background that makes the foregrounds all about the liveliness and livelihood and well-being of the citizens. So the first ideas that we should all have when we think of smart city is the idea that the KPIs, the key performance indicator of any smart cities, should be deliverables that is measurable, like numbers of hours that people can regain after the system was put in place, the number of people admitted to the hospital that declines, and the numbers of hours that people are able to maintain for their leisure when the systems are working on their behalf. So I think this is the definition that we wanted to use. So let's move to three trends in smart city development we have today. The first trend, next slide, I think it would be about the last mile mobility. Next slide, please. When we think of mobility, we usually think of something big, like public transit, highway, expressways, and so on. But it turns out that last mile mobility has become one of the most important mechanisms that drive cities as a whole. Why? Well, if you think of yourself, for instance, if you have to walk half a kilometer to a transit hub, and from there you can go anywhere you want, that half a kilometer is important because it makes you want to get on your car and get one car out on the streets rather than walk. And that car, when they get on the street, there's nowhere to park. You have to get it all the way to where you want to go. That's adding one more car on the street, adding one more vehicle on the street, adding one more chance for accident, one more vehicles that contribute to the greenhouse gas emissions, and of course, a lot of things that have to do with congestion as a whole. Next slide. So we see last mile mobility, not just important components, but the most important one, just like the rock here, the red one, without which people will use their private vehicles, and without which it wouldn't matter how good your main system is, the whole thing will collapse. So last mile mobility is very important. Next slide. There have been efforts from many companies around the world who try to introduce last mile units like this one. As you can see here, a really nice e-scooter that can get you from point A to point B, and it really helps you to decreases the amount of time it takes you to get there. And of course, in places like Isan or places like Southeast Asia where the heat becomes a problem, getting on an e-scooter really helps you to get wherever you want to go, especially the transit hub where you can take the next steps to wherever you want it to be. Next slide, please. The second trend is called 15-minute cities. The idea that cities should be big is outdated. we have learned during the COVID times that cities that are good are the ones that provide people all the services that they need within the walking distance. And the idea of 15-minute cities is to invert the pyramids of how people move around. Next slide. It should be that people move around using private cars because the roads are available, and then you get public transit, you get cycling, and walking is the last portions of how people move around. We wanted to invert that completely. Walking becomes a norm. You can get whatever you want within 15 minutes walk. Cycling become the ways people exercise while they are getting where they want it to be. Public transport serve the system, and private cars the least and the last options that people want to go to. Next slide. Paris has been one of the first cities around the world that are using this concept very fiercely. They really wanted to adopt the ideas of 15-minute cities and not only try to create different clusters whereby people living in the service providing cluster domains, but also these connectivity between clusters allow people to feel a sense of variety when they get from the urban realm. Next slide. Paris shooting for 15. Seoul in Korea, our colleagues, many colleagues are in Seoul right now. They are shooting for 10 minutes. With the verticality that they get from high-rise buildings, they can put all more objects into the buildings, and therefore the movement around the spectrums of verticalities allow people to be places that want to be schools, post offices, markets, hospitals in a vertical format much faster. 10 minutes. Seoul wanted to beat Paris in terms of its concepts. Next slide. But that's not all. Saudi Arabia with its new city called Neom wanted to shoot for 5 minutes because it's built city from the grounds up in the desert. Therefore, they can do much more because it doesn't have to abide with the existing regulations that exist in the existing cities. So 5 minutes, right, become much more interesting in how they are able to provide services within the 5 minutes of walking distances. Next slide, please. But you wouldn't believe this. Stockholm's going for 1 minute. They believe that public spaces is adaptable. So a road can be a market in the next minute if people want it to be. It could be a school for the minute after that. It could come back to be a market again if people needed it. So the adaptability, the flexibilities, the agilities really constitute to the way in which we think of cities, not as a fixed place in space and time, but the adaptable building domains where people can make use of with the humanistic sensibility. Next one. But are we ready for 0-minute cities? Well, here we have it here today. Next slide. It's called the metaverse. It's kind of places you can actually wear your glasses and you can be anywhere you want. Right now, I'm literally in the cyberspace with the background here, and many of you are in Korea and elsewhere in the world. I am literally with you guys in the metaverse in one form or the other. If that which is replacing the physicalities, we can get services faster, better, more efficiently, more optimized, and of course, more conveniently. It could be one of the things that we will adopt and adapt as a norm for our living condition from now on. So let's move on to the last trend that I have in mind, which is the trend about e-government services. The governments that are doing well are the ones that can sense the need of the people, citizens in the cities. We used to have to go through different processes in order to get access to data from the citizens. These days, a city can build systems that can whereby citizens can voice their concern through, especially with the applications on the smartphones. Next slide. Many cities in Thailand are doing this, especially cities in Isan and of course in the southern Thailand. Next slide. You have people sending their needs through an application. So in the case of Thailand, Line is the most popular messaging services and platform in the country. So people can get access to this because it's almost default to have it. Then they can voice their concern through it. And the dashboard in the offices of the mayors and the city builders would be the one who are taking care of the data. Right. So next slide. At the end of the day, cities are able to manage problem faster, more efficiently, and of course, the citizen will benefit. So let me conclude with my last slide here. The guidelines that we have for smart city developments are fourfold. Next slide, please. First of all, we wanted to make sure that we can rethink and redesign e-government services for people because we need cities to be smart from the ground up, and smart governance and smart governments are very crucial. Next, we wanted to maintain the existing mobility that we have, but added to that, the mechanism of last mile, that we have incentives and campaigns to make that happening. And then driven planning is also important because when we collect data, we can do more with less efforts. Because data is a new gold, it's a new oil, it can actually help us doing more. And last but not least, we want something like what Kun Kangwan mentioned earlier, the idea ideas of innovative business model, which Khon-Kaen think tank, KKTT, Khon-Kaen Pathana Mueang company is one of the most important companies in this manner. So let me conclude with my last slide, leave my email here, and of course the name of the Smart City offices in Thailand where I work for, and of course I'm looking forward to the conversation to have next. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Piti.
Thank you very much, Dr. Non. I think we did learn a lot about how to create a smart livable cities, right? The smart livable city should have at least how to solve the last mile conflicts, how to create a less than 15-minute cities or maybe 0-minute cities, and last but not least, the e-governments with a good governance. Hence, this is not just about the technologies, but how to create a cities for everybody. We have only a couple of minutes left for the last events. Hence, without further ado, I would like to give another questions for each presenter to quick conclude your presentations on these questions. The question is, what cooperations can we have with South Korea for the smart cities? So either Kun Kangwan or Dr. Supakorn or Dr. Non, could you please elaborate more to answer these questions? How and what cooperation can we have with South Korea for the smart cities?
Well, let me start then, because
yes,
we've been working very carefully and very deliberately with Khon-Kaen City and Khon-Kaen think tank for the past few years, especially through the program called K-City Network Collaboration Program, whereby we get support from the Korean government to help us in terms of coming up with the planning of the Khon-Kaen Mobility Master Plan. And that was the first step to create awareness and capacity building for our city staff and city leaders. I think the next step would be pilot projects. I think because there's so many good ideas we wanted to do together, and with the strength of the private sector like KKTT, with the strength of the governorship of Khon-Kaen, with the strength of DIPA, I think we can do much more.
Thank you very much, Dr. Non. I think Dr. Non already concluded the whole sessions by his questions on how we are going to join our hand with South Korea to develop not only Khon-Kaen smart cities, but the whole smart city network in Thailand and of course in Southeast Asia. So thank you very much. And I think we ran out of time for these sessions already. So I would like to invite all of the participants to give a big hand, maybe from the side, to say thank you to Dr. Supakorn, Kun Kangwan, and Dr. Non. Thank you very much. And I declare this session closed. Kamsahamnida. Thank you very much.
ขอบคุณครับทุกคนครับสวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to our moderator, Associate Professor Dr. Piti Srisangnam, and also our distinguished speakers. There are many new initiatives and developments, and that shows that smart city developments are materializing, especially in the Isan region, which will certainly help stimulate economic opportunities. And now we've come to the final session for the day, which is smart agriculture. With agriculture being the backbone of the country, how can we make the sector more competitive in all aspects of the farming process? Well, smart agriculture is key. I'd now like to introduce you to the moderator of this session, Mr. Suriyan Wichit Lekhakan, Executive Director of Mekong Institute, and our speakers, Mr. Nathawat Lerth Surawit, representative from the Federation of Thai Industries, Ubon Ratchathani, Dr. Prisan Rakwatin, Director of Digital Agriculture Development and Promotion Department from DIPA, or Digital Economy Promotion Agency, and also Mr. Thak Sri Rattanopad, Vice President, Khon-Kaen Innovation Center. And now we have a video presentation for you, which will give you an outlook on the nation's agricultural industry and how the northeastern provinces are embracing smart transformation.
Now, ปัจจุบันนี้เทคโนโลยีการเกษตรโดยเฉพาะเครื่องจักรกลมีความสำคัญมากในการผลิตพืชนะครับปัจจุบันนี้เราต้องการมากคือเครื่องหยอดเมล็ดพืชที่มีความแม่นยำหยอดปุ๋ยตามค่าวิเคราะห์ดินนะครับพอเก็บเกี่ยวผลผลิตเนี่ยเราก็ต้องการเทคโนโลยีที่สามารถเก็บเกี่ยวแล้วลดแรงงานลงได้นะครับอย่างเรามีเครื่อง ขุดเก็บเกี่ยวและปิดถั่วลิสงเนี่ยเป็นเทคโนโลยีที่มีความต้องการสูงมากนะครับตอนนี้หลังจากเก็บเกี่ยวแล้วก็ยังต้องมีการไปแปรรูปเริ่มจากการทำให้แห้งก่อนนะครับหรือการอบแห้งเทคโนโลยีการอบแห้งก็ต้องมีเครื่องมือที่มีคุณภาพสูงนะครับ
เศษกิ่งยางพารานะคะที่หล่นนะคะเราก็เลยมีความคิดที่ว่าเราจะทำให้เกิดรายได้การสร้างเตาถ่านก็จะทำให้เราได้ถ่านผลพลอยได้จากการเผาถ่านนะคะก็คือน้ำส้มควันไม้นะคะจะมีคุณสมบัติในการนะคะควบคุมศัตรูพืชนะคะ
ในเบื้องต้นเกษตรอัจฉริยะเราจะเน้นในเรื่องของการควบคุมอัตโนมัติอย่างชาญฉลาดไม่ว่าจะเป็นการควบคุมการให้น้ำพืชการควบคุมในโรงเรือนพืชซึ่งเทคโนโลยีเหล่านี้ก็ได้อยู่ระหว่างการนำไปทดสอบในเกษตรกรหัวก้าวหน้าต่างๆนอกจากนี้ก็ยังมีเทคโนโลยีอื่นๆด้านเกษตรอัจฉริยะที่ยังทำวิจัยไม่ว่าจะเป็นเรื่องการให้ปุ๋ยตามพิกัดดาวเทียมหรือการใช้โดรนถ่ายรูปเพื่อจะวิเคราะห์โรคและแมลง
Thank you for the introduction and Excellencies, audience, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to welcome all of you to the session 3 of the webinar today, this afternoon. It will be on smart agriculture. Following the other two previous sessions, you could by now see that the Isan region or the northeastern of Thailand is strategically located at the center of Mekong sub-region. It connects several Mekong sub-region economic corridors. The Isan region has potential to be an important gateway to and act as business hub for the Mekong sub-region. This applies to agriculture sector, not only in terms of agriculture and food productions, but also agricultural inputs, technology, and related services. This to offer both Thai and Korean governments and private sector to explore opportunities for joint development cooperation and investment in smart agriculture. So during the session 3, we are fortunate to have 3 distinguished speakers. The name has been already introduced. Each speaker will have up to 12 minutes presentation in the interest of time. So I would like to request the speaker to confine to the time allocation. Audience, if you are ready, let us walk through the first presentation to be made by Mr. Tak Siratanopad, Vice President of Khon-Kaen Innovation Center. Kun Tak, if you are ready, the floor is yours, please.
Yeah, the moderator, can you help me to put up my presentation, please? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm from Midpon Group. Our group are the sugar mill industry, but we not only the sugar, but we extend ourselves as a bio economy company. May I have my presentation come up? I think the concept of the agriculture, that why we have to be in Isan. The Isan have the biggest available land for agriculture of Thailand and connected to the Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam, and of course, these are agriculture-based, dominated. I think that the concept of our industry, that everybody look at the sugar industry is a sunset, but it had been looking as a sunset for many decades ago. But how can we survive by those sunsets? I think our concept is how we transform waste to the value. That's the concept that I would like to put it up for the agriculture industry to learn, that how do they manage their waste in the process and turn that to value. But how do you make that you need technology innovation to come along with. If you see from the picture, that's the sugarcane leaf, and they are rolling up as an infinity. That means this is we can circulation this industry continuously to the infinity, from the sugar cane field to the sugar mill, making a sugar and turn those waste to the energy, to the biopower, to the biofuel, and then some of the waste can transform as a fertilizer and come back to the sugarcane field again. Next, please. Yeah, this slide just gives you an idea for the people who don't know what is the sugarcane industry are. We have the sugarcane field, which is partly agriculture, sugarcane farm, and we make sugar from the sugarcane juice, and you have the byproduct called molasses, and the molasses go to the refining to refine the ethanol, and we use that ethanol for the vehicle, which is the gasohol, but when you crush the sugar cane, you get sugar, and then you get the fiber, and the fiber of the sugar cane we call bagasses. We turn that bagasse to the particle board, which is the substitution of the wood, so that you are conserve the forestry. And the other function of the bagasses, that we burn the bagasse and put it to the boiler and boil the water and make it steam turbine to generate electricity. Not only the electricity are used in the sugar mill, but also export to the community as well. Next slide, please. Well, as I told you, that you see the S-curve of the sugarcane industry, that the first S-curve is the blue one. Of course, the sugarcane is making a sugar for sweetener. Then right now, the yellow S-curve, that where we are now, is the sugarcane generate the power, sugarcane generate the particle board, sugarcane generate the electricity, and generate the ethanol for the biofuel. But right now we are moving up to the next S-curve, which is the red S-curve, that we have to move to the bioeconomy, that the lactic acid can turn to be the biomaterial, or that the bioplastic, and can be turned to the food ingredient, the supplement, even if go to the pharmaceutical in the future. And on the left-hand side, that you see the green pyramid, and the green pyramid are the represent of the building up of the value of the agriculture. Okay, the next slide, please, that you can see more clearly. Here we are. This pyramid that you are built on the foundation of the agriculture, and how smart that we can transform those agriculture and climb up those pyramids, which is not the big volume, but it's going to be create more value to the industry. I think the problem, the issue of the Thailand is to create value of the waste and to create value of the product of the agriculture to be the higher income or higher yield. So if it's possible that we can, such as for example, the sugarcane, and the next step is the biopower and go to the bioeconomy like pharmaceutical, supplement, and even go to up to the top is about pharmacy. Next slide, please. This slide that gives you that, that the byproduct of the sugar industry, such as bagasse, molasses, and the sugar can transform by using the biotechnology and transform to the various product. Even if right now that we're talking about the ethanol that we're going to go to the jet fuel, which is the fuel that you put on the airplane to fly the airplane. Next slide, please. Here we are. How to get from the agriculture base to become the top of the pyramid or become the new S-curve of the bio industry. It's not that easy. We need collaboration of the many parties, especially the research and the development and the innovation of the technology within the country and all over the world are welcome. So what we have to do, that we have to build our home to be the innovation ecosystem. What is the innovation ecosystem here is to merge between the entrepreneur or the private company and the institutes or university or the research center meet together and create the development of the product that turning the research and development to become commercialized. So by having this concept, you think that, in this paper, we put together from many books and many ideas that how can we build the eco environments to ease the business and creating the value from the research and development. And those, basically us developed from agriculture based product to become the bio industry base. And there's a many factor and many function, but one of the column is the private sector. Okay, Midpon, we look at the Khon Kaen is a good hubs for the Isan province and will be the center of the Isan, and everything here is ready, and Isan is also our foundation of the sugar mill industry. We also have about more than 6 locations of the sugar mill under Midpon Group, and this is the sugar belt industry. So we can tipping up our pyramid from transform not only the sugar, but the sugar go to the bio industry. But how we get there is not that easy. So the private sector are building this eco environment to turn the agriculture base to be the bio base. So here we are the example. Next slide, please. Okay, the next slide you see that one of the column is a private sector that we are building the eco environments, which is called Khon Kaen Innovation Center, which is I'm the project leader. Within the Khon Kaen Innovation Center, we try to put together the facility of the eco environments. We have facility, and we try to merge all the research, university, and the business together. Also, in the Khon Kaen Innovation Center, we have co-working space an incubation center, laboratory for food and the bio, and laboratory workshop for the what they call like the startup to come here. We also have the entertainment, hotels, and facility, the My Center, to be welcome all those entrepreneurs to come and be able to meet in here in the center and make this center became the place to meet and incubated the new business. Next slide, please. Okay, the Khon Kaen Innovation Center are located at the Innovation District of the Khon Kaen. Previously somebody mentioned about the Sichan is the old town of Khon Kaen, and the National Innovation Agency tried to make this area about this area to become the innovation district area of Khon Kaen and of Isan. Next slide, please. Okay, this innovation center have to have industry to focus. So the first industry that will be focused here is the agriculture, and next is of course is food. Agriculture and food are going together, and then topping up the pyramid by bio industry. So three of them are all together, and the next one, which is probably interest to the Korea. Korean have what they call like soft power, which is all the music, art, and entertainment. So in this area, we also comprise of MarTech, music, art, recreation, technology. So if you are entrepreneur of agriculture, food, or the biotechnology, or you are the entrepreneur of the music, art, and recreation, if you are fit in this area, that you can be joining to have your business and the startup here in this district. And now they are working on the benefit with the board of investment that the entrepreneur should be getting to be located in this area. Last but not least, we also talking about the smart and technology as well. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the Khon Kaen Innovation Center project, which is right at the Sichan Innovation District, which is in the center of the Khon Kaen, which is the downtown of Khon Kaen. We convert the old building, which had been only the structure left since Tom Yam Kung since 1997, and they're doing nothing for 20 years. And right now it's almost done. In the mid of this year, in July, we're going to open up the Sky Hotel first, and then we're going to open the co-working space, and we're going to open the My facility, and also the lab is there already. The lab on the 9th floor is already done. Okay, so I will show you a little bit about the video about this center, which is welcome all the Korean investor to come and visit. And this will be your one-stop of investment. Last but not least, go to the next slide, please. Yeah, last but not least, I think that, to be success in the biotechnology, you need to have the production. So the industrial park have to put in place in the area. So there are the totally complements, because in Isan you have agriculture base, the farm field, right? And then you can do the smart farming, so on, so far, but you after the farm field, you got right now you have a lot of the food industry around here. Food and beverage industry are around here, and you got to have the bio industrial park to be the production base. And our Contact Innovation Center will be the business center, will be the incubation center to incubate the business and new startup to come to the ISAN. I would like to present you about 3-minute video presentation about the Innovation Center that you will see the soft opening by July this year. The video presentation, please. Sorry, part of it are in Thai, but I try to walk through this. So this is our concept of the project that we aim to be the incubation center. Why we have to be here in Khon Kaen? Because Khon Kaen became the center of the sub-region, especially the GMS sub-region. It's a center of transportation, and it's a center of education, and it's a center of the medical as well, and it's a smart, creative, and progressive city. So this center will be the learning, creating, and last but not least, collaboration and share. This is our concept. This is the facility that we put in here. It's in downtown of Khon Kaen that we turn the old building to become the brand new. With all the facility, is not only the education or training facility, but also the hotel and entertainment as well. Offices. Here I mentioned the research center or the food laboratory and bio laboratory also comprised in this building. This is the MICE Center, the center for the seminar and entertainment as well. And this is a co-working space where the startup and new entrepreneur can be meet. The buildings are comprised of the solar cell and the 5G technology, surrounding by the green area. And also that we can build what is like a creative park as well. Okay, that's all of my presentation today.
Thank you, Kun Park, for the presentation. Thank you very much indeed. You have brought up two important aspects where there is a strength of ISAN and also has potential of expanding cooperation between northeastern Thailand and Republic of Korea. One is on the fact that agriculture is not only strong in terms of producing food and agri-product, but also in tapping on better management of agricultural waste and agricultural byproducts. It will certainly provide additional income to the farmers and also help to really develop the effective biomass management and reduce potential environmental issues. You also have highlighted the need to invest in innovation, and Khon Kaen Innovation Center is an example that the expertise and knowledge and investment already there. We could expand the potential of cooperation and investment by working with Republic of Korea so that we can expand the technology development and adoption. Thank you very much, Khun Tak. Allow me just to continue to the next speaker. The next speaker will be Dr. Prisan Ratwatin from the Digital Economy Promotion Agency. If you are ready, Dr. Prisan, the floor is to you.
Thank you very much, Ajahn Suriyan. Ajahn Suriyan and me just known for a very long time, and then we work together on the climate change using satellite, and then how to use the technology to adapt to the farmers. So I'm also working at the Digital Economy Promotion Agency, the same as Dr. Subakon and Dr. Non work, but we are focused in a different theme. I'm focused on the smart agriculture. So basically, since Dr. Non and then Dr. Subashai just mentioned about a little bit about the DEBA. DEBA just started about 4 years ago. Of course, one of the main tasks is smart city office, and then we are trying to focus also on the digital transformation, startups, smart cities, and smart infrastructures. So I think because we try to promote the digital to the Thai citizens, so we are not focusing on the urban development, but also in the suburban and then countrysides. That's why we open up our satellite office scattered all around the country to be able to support our citizens to be able to access to the digital world. So this is our aim for our development. Of course, one of the most important thing is the human development. If we don't have a human development, so other thing is not progressing because of the knowledge of the people to be able to access to the digital. This is one of pillar. And also we try to transform our economy to a digital Thailand by using our fund to transform not only the farmers, but also the SME and the communities to be able to access to the Thai digital maker that we try to be matchmaking, and we try to be the matchmaker to both sides. This is what we try to do, and then we try to build the ecosystem like smart city and big data. This is what we try to do. Next is, if you see, it's like after COVID is changing from production to platform, for physical to non-physics, for indigenous industry to digitalized industries. Of course, we cannot communicate face to face, but since the COVID, we use the technology to have a very close meeting like the online Zoom or online conference. Luckily, doing this can improve our digital literacy to our people, because people are need to communicate using the digital without very close chat with each others. What we try to do is like in our agency, we try to build startups, digital startups. For example, fintech, edtech, agritech, travel tech, and health tech. This is startups like we try to nurture, build up, and then try to promote them to be able to get access to the customers. But without standards, we cannot promote them. Of course, the standard is maybe we initiate them with the ISO standards like 29110 for the digital standards, and then matching with the farmer, SME industry, and the communities. This is matching them to get the ecosystems and the community, so they can improve their products and then better qualities. this is like we aim to have a digital ecosystem and then digital Thailand that we have like how to say smarter get higher employment rate, purchasing power and quality of life. So if you see is that our economic structures, we can see that in agriculture we have people under the social security system is 71%, but this agriculture sector is how to say contribute to our gross GDP is only 10% compared to the others. This is one of the things. The people cannot. It's very hard to adapt to the new world, and then how to say they need to have some tools to help their production, because the problem is the farmers are getting aging. Average farmer is around 56, and then is also how to say the climate change also one of the problems that they are facing. So without sensor to monitor their crops, or without how to say tools that can help them, it's very hard to make improve of their productions. For their part, we try to build up the digital transformation platform in order to link between digital provider, which is one like our startups that we initiate, or system integrator, or how to say Thai who would like to build up the how to say digital service. We try to have a bridge between the customer, for example, farmer, SME, or communities, to link with these two sides, and then we try to support them with our financial support at the start. And this is like we think is it is a good start that we can help them to paying the fee for the digital provider, and then help the farmer with the tools that digital provider provides. So what our support or transformation is like we try to support our local business, our farmers and our communities with the tools. It's called Digital Transformation Fund. The tools that we try to introduce, or the tools that we try to help the farmers or SME is shown under the website called techhunt.depa.or.th. The farmers or SME can search, can look at the how to say online platform like this. It's like an Amazon that you can look at the product and select. But with these websites, we can help the farmers or local communities or SME to get the fund through our digital transformation fund. So this is our startups that we try to introduce and then try to match up with the how to say the customers. Of course, not only startups, but we try to help the digital provider and then system integrator also as well, that they can also put their products on our websites, and then the farmers, SME and communities can select the product throughout the websites. And then we select, we have the committee, and then we have the, how to say, and experts to give suggestion and then select the relevant technology to the farmers, community and SME. The project strength is like some of the matching fund, and then some of the, how to say, matching fund, and then some grant. And the project is long, the project duration is about 1 year, and implementation may be very short because it's not only R&D, but it's the tools is already implemented somewhere else. So they implement to the farmers, or they implement to the how to say customers. So we have a selection method that the farmers, communities, and then the SME have to come and present their products and then what they would like to do, why they choose this technology, and then we set up with the experts that discuss about this one. Is it relevant to the communities or not? So this is what we try to have a method of selection carefully. So digital technology and innovation that normally we provide is not very fancy technologies, but is good enough for Thai to be able to select maybe very basic one and then but usable. So something like drone for fertilizer and pesticide, IoT for the smart watering systems, smart farm, and then some companies or some communities would like to use their ERP or automation systems to be able to improve their product, and then CRM for their customer service. So one of the things that we introduce is a drone. Drone is very good. Fertilizing to the communities, because up to date the pesticide and fertilizer using the people is very put themselves into jeopardy. So and then take long time, and then if the people get into the field, there maybe destroy some crops. So with these drones, they use to spray very less water, and then they very few using very small times to spray and finishing them. So this is very good and then very popular now. They even sometimes they get a job using drone spraying because it's very effective and very fast. And then the other thing is IoT. Of course, on and off timer is also good, but of course they like to monitor, put the sensor on the field. So sometimes the farmer need to go somewhere else, so they can use a mobile connected with Wi-Fi, so they can have a very good connectivity. They can have sometimes spare time for their families. This is also another the mushroom farm that they try to use the technology, because in the farm they put some of the fog and then some of the chemicals, so they very dangerous to get inside. So they use this one to help them to set up the systems. Also, the cattle, they use wraps to see like the fertilities of the breeding of the cow. They use a sensor for each cow to monitor their healthy. And then land leveling, that of course we link with the rice department and the other department to try to promote the land leveling to reduce the watering the farm. So another thing is try to put the list of the elephant to enter to the field there, so they have the building apps to inform the farmers that the elephant enter to the fields, and then they try to push them away. This is another thing that can help the handicapped person that the farmer would like to take care of the family. So if there's something happen, they can bring up, and then they can take care of the people. And then this is another thing is like smart tourist for agriculture. So if the foreigner or we don't have like a tour guide, so we can use QR code and scanning, and then information reach out, and then they can sell the all tops products. And then we are to promote their productivity and put it online as well. So they can create a richness of the reachable to the communities. So last but not least, we also try to put up the MOOC online learning course for the, how do you say, farmers, SME, and entrepreneur that would like to have like build up their knowledge and then upskill and reskill to use the online at their free times. So this is all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Prisan, for this very interesting and also future-looking presentation. You have brought up an important element of what constitutes the smart agriculture, particularly in the transformation process. It's not only in terms of being smart, but also making agriculture efficient towards safe, good quality, and sustainable production. Digital technology has a lot of rooms to explore and promote. And I believe this is also a topic where Thailand and Korea, be it from the government and private sector, could explore how we can jointly cooperate together, not only for the purpose and benefit of Isan region, but it could provide services and support to neighboring countries who are located in Mekong sub-region and beyond. The last speaker of this session will be Mr. Nathawat Sura Vitaya. He is a member of Federation of Thai Industry Ubon Ratchathani Province. If you are ready, Kun Nathawat, the floor is yours. In the interest of time, if you could try to reduce the time to 8 to 10 minutes, I would appreciate a lot. Over to you, Kun Nathawat, please.
Thank you very much, Kap. Can you hear me, Ajahn?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn Suriyan. I promise I will go quite fast since we don't have much time. Can I have my presentation up, please? Okay. And so today, for my section, I will present you about overview about Ubon Ratchathani, especially on the point of view of potential of agricultural sites. Okay, so first of all, Ubon Ratchathani is the easternmost province of Thailand, and we are the only city that have border area connected to two countries, which is Laos and Cambodia. And so in that area, we call it Emerald Triangle, where we have three countries meet together, Thailand, Laos, and Cambodia. Next, please. And for infrastructure and transportation in Ubon Ratchathani, of course, we have both. We have all kind of transportation, like international airport. We have cross-border. We have immigration point, like Chong Mek border immigration point, where connect Thai and Laos. And also, we also have double-track railway project, which will connect Ubon Ratchathani to Nakhon Ratchasima, and from Nakhon Ratchasima and can go to all over place in Thailand. Next, please. And also, as we know, I believe everyone have heard about China-Laos railway. And at the moment, from Kunming, is now arrived at Vientiane, which is close to Nong Khai, Thailand. Of course, we expect in the near future, there will be more future projects expanding this strategic railway from Vientiane down along the Thai border into Laos and come into Cambodia. And of course, as you can see at the star place that I have made, is Ubon Ratchathani. Of course, there will be, since this rail will pass in Champasak, which is the province in Laos and next to Ubon. Of course, Ubon Ratchathani will get a lot of benefit from this strategic China-Laos railway. Next, please. And this is the cross-border route from Ubon Ratchathani. You can see that we have road that can travel into Laos, to Vietnam, to Cambodia, and from Laos and Vietnam, you can go up to south of China. Next. And for the government policy, of course, Ubon Ratchathani is one of the provinces that is including in the Northeastern Economic Corridor policy, and the government assigned our city to be the premium agro-industrial and bioeconomic cluster. So in the near future, once this policy is executed, I believe that there will be support and incentive from BOI that will help the investor who would like to invest about organic farm, smart farming, food processing, or any biotechnologies. And of course, Thai government try to make Thailand to be biohub of ASEAN. Yes. Next, please. Apart from that, we also have the development plan of the Lower Isan region, Group 2, Ubon including in Lower Isan Group 2 region, which consists of Ubon Ratchathani, Srisaket province, Yasothon, and Amnachalo. And the strategic point we focus on is to improve jasmine rice and to have more value added for jasmine rice, which is associated with agricultural point of view. And also we try to enhance our tourists and also increase border trade. Of course, tourism, Ubon Ratchathani have potential to become like cultural tourism or agricultural tourism, and also border trade. At the moment, we also have like a lot of trade. We trade many things between our neighbor country, like agricultural crops and other products as well. Next, please. And also, we also have the provincial development plan that associated with agriculture. We try to enhance agricultural productivity and processing. So we hope to have more technology and knowledge and know-how to help our farmers in our city to enhance their productivity. Next, please. And as you can see, this is the land use map of Ubon Ratchathani. Ubon Ratchathani cover the area of about 10 million rai, which is equivalent to about 4 million acres. And you can see that about 63% of the whole city is agricultural area, the light green color. Yeah, so Ubon Ratchathani main occupation or main job of people here is during business or anything associated with agriculture. Yep. Next, please. And the top 5 crops that grow in the city is rice, both jasmine rice and sticky rice, but more jasmine rice, I can say that. Also cassava, rubber, corn for animal feed, and palm oil, and other potential as well. You can find coconut, durian, longchan, rose apple, banana in Ubon. You can also find a lot of herbs like okra, shallot, or tiba. And also I have heard also that okra in Ubon that grow in Ubon, they export to Korea for cosmetic purpose or medicine purpose as well. And also we have cattle and chicken livestock farm, many of them. Yeah. Next, please. And this is the example of the agricultural entrepreneur in Ubon. First is the Ubon Bioethanol Public Company Limited. They turn cassava into bioethanol for using as the petrol for vehicle. And also the Bio Sunflower Company, they do organic tapioca starch, they do organic cassava flour. Of course, they use the cassava to make this, and the cassava also come from both in Thailand and from Laos as well. We also have some business that doing with livestock like Gao Na Kai Sot. This is a very big company and it's like one-stop service of chicken meat company. They have their own chicken farm and then they have food processing. They turn chicken into pre-cooked yakitori and then export. Yeah. And also many entrepreneurs, many people in Ubon can import coffee bean from Laos and Vietnam and sell in Ubon. Yep. Next, please. And another potential for Ubon Ratchathani is the Ubon Ratchathani University. They have pilot plan, and this is it's act like R&D research base for SME, for startup who interesting to let's say open the project with the university, want to research about meat processing, about vegetable processing, you can come and talk to the university and they can consult you. We can try to make small batch of it. And then if you good enough, then you can build your own factory. Yep. Next, please. And this is another project that is coming soon in Ubon Ratchathani is the Ubon Ratchathani Industrial Estate, which will start construction in 2024. And of course, one of the main target industry of this industrial estate is to enhance and to support the agriculture industry. So we prepare the land, the industrial land infrastructure to make the investor easy to invest in agricultural industry in Ubon Ratchathani. Yep. Next, please. Yeah, that is all my information I would like to present today. And if you would like some more information about industry, agriculture in Ubon Ratchathani, please feel free to contact the Federation of Thai Industry of Ubon Ratchathani Industry, Ubon Ratchathani Province. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kun Natthawat, for the presentation and sharing your experience. I think the case of Ubon Ratchathani Province also a good example of how agriculture is not just a mere sector, but it could be developed into agro-based industries and working in collaboration among local governments, university, private sector, and has connection to neighboring countries like Laos, PDR, and Cambodia. Therefore, it will not only serve the purpose of the region alone, but also possibility of doing cross-border trade and cooperation with neighboring countries. Excellencies, colleagues, and ladies and gentlemen, in the interest of time, I will not be able to really open much of the Q&A, but rather to request the speaker, Kun Tak, Kun Prisan, and Kun Natthawat, if you may have any final remarks that would be an invitation for cooperation between Thailand in the Isan region and Republic of Korea in the area of smart agriculture. So please, if you have a few important points to share, please, the floor is open. Over to you, please, if you can share your thought.
I think that, there's a lot of opportunity for the Korean investor or the startup or the entrepreneur to come to Isan, because of the, especially that my center, the Content Innovation Center, can be the point of contact that we can cater you to meet the business and facilitate you, because that we try to be our service as a one-stop for the Korea. Recently that we talked with the entertainments and what is like a soft power of the Korean company want to come here, and we try to match them with the BOI. How can we settle their investment and settle their and gathering all the benefit to setting up here, because in the center and in the innovation district, we not only have agriculture, food, and the biotechnology, but we also have a MarTech, which is music, art, and entertainment as well. So it's all variety to offer. But basically, this forum is agriculture. I know that in Thailand, we have to move from mechanization. And I think that in Korean, I saw a lot of the opportunity of the mechanization machinery can be, come to my center, demonstrate that we can connect you to the farmer and the entrepreneur here in Thailand. That's that make it simple, Just
okay.
Use us as a hub. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Kun Tak. If no other intervention from speakers, I beg your indulgence that we have run over time and I need to conclude the session. Excellencies, audience, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you could see that Isan region is really located in strategically in the Mekong sub-region. And thus the Isan region has potential to be an important gateway to Mekong sub-region, and it also acts as a sub-regional business hub. So as already presented by the speaker, we could use Isan region as an entry point where investment, where business cooperation could be initiated so that the development and spillover effect can go as much as other countries in Mekong sub-region. I hope the session provided a glimpse of the opportunities for both countries, either government or private sector, to work together towards joint development, cooperation, and investment. So with that, I would like to extend my heartfelt thanks to the speakers, Kun Tak, Kun Prisan, and Kun Nathawat, for sharing your expertise, and also to the audience who patiently attending the webinar. I would like to return the floor back to the organizer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to Mr. Suryan, our moderator, and also a special thanks to our panelists. I trust that the audience has learned a lot from this session on smart agriculture, especially on how it has revolutionized the agricultural sector within the country, especially in the northeastern part of Thailand, allowing for more productivity, better resource management, and of course leading to sustainable development. And that's all for the sessions we have this afternoon for today's webinar. So in closing, I'd like to call upon Mr. Moon Sung-hyun, Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Thailand, to give his closing remarks. Please.
안녕하십니까. 사티크랍. 주태국 대한민국 대사 문승현입니다. 우선 주한태국대사관에서 처음으로 메콩 관련 세미나를 개최하게 된 것을 진심으로 축하드립니다. 뜻깊은 세미나에 초청해 주신 위추 대사님께 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 우리에게 메콩 지역은 아직 생소할 수 있습니다. 그러나 메콩의 성장 잠재력, 그리고 우리와의 협력 발전 가능성은 그 어떤 다른 나라나 지기업과 비교해도 뒤지지 않습니다. 메콩 지역은 인구 2억 4천만 명의 큰 시장이며 코로나 이전 평균 5% 이상의 높은 경제 성장률을 기록했으며 젊은 노동 인구의 비중이 높고 풍부한 자원을 보유해 앞으로의 개발 성장이 더욱 기대되는 지역입니다. 실제로 한 메콩 간 교역액은 2011년 341억 불에서 2020년 832억 불로 2배 이상 증가하였고, 상호 방문객 수는 2011년 240만 명에서 2019년 800만 명으로 3배 이상 증가하는 등 우리와의 협력도 빠르게 확대되고 있습니다. 우리 정부에서도 메콩 협력을 강화하기 위해 적극 노력해 왔습니다. 2011년 제1차 외교장관 회의를 기점으로 출범한 한 메콩 협력은 2019년 정상급으로 격상된 데 이어 2020년 제2차 정상회의 계기 전략적 동반자 관계로 발돋움했습니다. 작년까지 누적 1,442만 불의 한 메콩 협력 기금을 바탕으로 33개 실질 협력 사업을 진행하였고, 우리 정부 ODA 총액의 약 20%가 메콩 5개국에 지원되고 있습니다. 작년은 한 메콩 협력 10주년을 맞이하였는데, 이를 계기로 한 메콩 교류의 해가 지정이 되었고, 인적 문화적 교류 활성화를 위해 다양한 행사를 추진하였습니다. 한 메콩 교류의 해가 연장된 만큼 올해에도 다채로운 행사를 기획 중에 있으며, 우리 태국대사관에서는 6월 중에 메콩 에크맥스 협력 관련 시너지 모색을 주제로 세미나를 개최할 예정으로 있습니다. 아울러 최근 망고 스티키 라이스 열풍 등 태국 내 소프트파워 논의가 큰 관심을 얻고 있음을 고려하여 하반기에는 소프트파워 협력 관련 세미나를 추진할 계획입니다. 이 세미나는 한 태국 양자 협력에만 국한되지 않고 한 메콩 간 인적 문화적 교류 강화에도 기여할 것으로 기대됩니다. 여러분, 2019년 제1차 한메콩 정상회의에서 채택된 한강 메콩강 선언처럼 한강과 메콩강은 지속 가능한 상생 번영 협력의 상징이 될 수 있습니다. 특히 오늘 세미나에서 소개된 메콩강 유역 태국 북동부 지역과는 보건의료, 스마트시티 및 인프라, 스마트농업, 농촌개발 등에서 협력 가능성이 큰 만큼 여러분께서도 관심을 갖고 기회를 적극 모색해 주시기를 바랍니다. 최근 태국 입국 시 테스트 앤 고가 폐지되는 등 이동이 수월해진 만큼 여러분들께서도 태국 및 메콩 지역을 직접 방문하셔서 성장 잠재력을 확인해 주시면 좋겠습니다. 오늘 세미나가 성공적으로 개최된 것을 축하드리며 준비를 위해 수고해 주신 주한태국대사관 직원 여러분들에게 감사 말씀을 드리겠습니다. 감사합니다. 곱쿤크랍.
Your Excellency, thank you very much. Kamsahamnida. That was the Ambassador of the Republic of Korea to Thailand, Mr. Moon Seung-hyun. And on behalf of the organizers, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our invited speakers and moderators for their time and for sharing their expertise with us throughout this afternoon. We trust that from today's webinar, interested agencies from the public, private, and academic sectors in the ROK can gain better understanding and ideas on the potential of Thailand's northeastern provinces for development of Mekong sub-region at large, especially when it comes to areas that corresponds with ROK's expertise. Should you require more information, well, you can contact us through email, call, or even Facebook messaging. And do let us know. Once again, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Hani Cholapansanarula. It's time to sign off now. Do have a lovely evening. Sawadee ka.